All right. Welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. You can hear me okay, I believe, out there. Well, hey, guys, happy Tuesday. We had to switch it up here, and sorry that we weren't as forthcoming with what's happened. We did put out I think a pre-show vibes video out on our YouTube channel to our members here. But welcome into the Ryan Ripken Show. The holiday throws us off. Hope you guys enjoyed your holiday, and happy Memorial Day. And for all that served and all of those that have given to allow us the opportunities. It really is the ultimate sacrifice. And the military, I have a lot of friends specifically that are involved in the military at this day and time. But let's talk a little bit about what we are discussing here today, shall we? Well, we are going to get into the Orioles content in the future, but there is a couple, I think they're bigger topics we'd like to talk about to start off the show. Then, obviously, we're going to talk about some Major League Baseball topics. We know how valuable Gunnar Henderson is to the Orioles, Adley Rutschman. How about Ronald Acuña Jr., done for the season? Angel Hernandez retired. And also, Bob Costas has an interesting top 5 list that we want to share with you. We will go around and talk about the crowded Orioles outfield room, plus break down Kyle Stowers' big game yesterday against the Boston Red Sox. Move into some Ravens. We'll finish it up with a little bit of spiciness. Brad always has polls. I think that covers our tracks here for the most part. But first off, let's show you who's in studio. And yes, we're running a little bit late, but we got most of the band here. Starting at my right, did I get the camera right? Zach Bollinger, I did.
Boom. Look at what a way to start the show. That's how you know it's going to be a good show.
And
Ryan,
you wore the shirt.
Yeah, it's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
I'm proud of you. You're a good kid. And for those that tuned in yesterday to the live post-game show, which is becoming a thing, which Zach and Kevin, for better or for worse, are going to be headlining that. Well, you saw Kevin Ostreicher take a shot of relish. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. No crazy intro from me today. We reserve that for the post-game show. So I don't know what I'm going to be cooking up. Hopefully the Orioles win so we can get even crazier. Yeah. But Zach and I are undefeated since we've started it up. I think they're 5-0.
Go us.
Right?
Go us.
We are the Orioles magic.
Yeah.
You and I. There we go.
Boom, right here.
All the credit to you guys, not to the team that is going out there and playing, but Kevin Ostreicher for taking shots of relish and Zach Bollinger doing whatever the hell Zach is doing. Yeah. But behind the scenes, who makes this all work? Mr. Brad, there he is. Brad, how we doing today?
Good. And listen, I think Kevin's on to something. I mean, I feel like Ryan, he might have been a little bit snarky about the guys playing and everything, but as well as I do that, the stitious side of baseball is a thing. And I feel like Zach and Kevin might be on to something.
Yep. I agree.
Also, shots of relish after every win is all I'm going to say.
Might have to make it. If they keep winning, I'll keep doing it.
If they put up, if it's an offensive outburst today, shots galore of relish, dude. Also, I feel like tequila was easier for you to drink than it was to eat the relish.
It was about the storylines, right? It was the first in-person hot dog race. Relish won the race, by the way, so it's not like it was completely random. So I had to. Relish has been very underrated on this show. I don't think we've gotten one relish answer in our Stuggies hot dog question.
Oh, God.
So I needed to represent a little bit. Yeah, Rocco cut off half my face in this picture. I don't know why.
I do love. I'll give him credit. I love that he did make sure he does look like he's wearing the headphones in that.
Well, he's also bald in this picture completely.
This is it's unique. Actually would have been electric. I think someone said I was waiting for your guys to take off the hats, and it was going to be you guys. That would have been hysterical. But we are going to do it live. You guys say, screw it, we're doing it live. We're going to do a live race in the future here. And C Money even says, just so everyone knows.
Oh, C Money, you're the man.
We win every time I donate shots for everyone. C Money, then Orioles keep winning. And we'll take those donations as we can continue to further enhance our content. And Brad, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Can we go back to that picture real quick?
Yeah.
It is hilarious because when you look at this picture, you would think that it was either Zach, Kevin, and Rocco, only because the middle guy, the mustard guy, is taller than mustard and relish or relish and ketchup. So, I think there's probably a lot of people conspiring and thinking that maybe it was the three of those guys, but that would have been absolutely hilarious.
It would have been even funnier if Rocco didn't put Zach's face on Mustard, because Mustard already looks like Zach in the first place. Like,
I've gotten tagged like 3 or 4 times already on Twitter. Mustard had a mustache and glasses and was the tallest. It was a little like, I think I know what they were looking at when they're like, what's a Mustard guy?
They might have actually seen like you talk about it and they're like, what does Mustard look like?
Boom.
It looks like this.
Boom.
they probably they watched the show and they profiled Zach. And
I mean, I'm the Mustard guy too.
Yeah. I will say though,
that is true.
It will be electric. We'll make it happen. One time there will be a live hot dog race at Camden Yards, and we will take, like, imagine, just like you said, the people will know because there will be a plain one. That's when people will be like, wait a second. Why is there a fourth?
We're getting Ryan a naked suit.
Brad will be out there in his costume. That's how people will know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Brad's going to be out there as Officer Dangle and making sure that the boys are in line. It'll be a lot of fun. Honestly, we might do that outside the stadium because, again, it's all about the community, and we appreciate all of you guys here. You guys make this work, and it's a fun time to be a Baltimore Orioles fan. It's a fun time to be a Baltimore sports fan, and it's just a fun time in general to just continue to build a community, and that's what we're doing with our memberships. So if you guys can subscribe to it, we have the Rips Super Kids, and we have the Holy Shirts and Pants members, which, again, overall, if you guys want to join that, we would greatly appreciate it because it ultimately helps our channel out as we continue to grow. Heck, I finally got a laptop that didn't shut down while
Let's go.
That's because of you guys. That's because of you
Literally,
guys. We appreciate
Leaving
it.
me in the dust.
Yeah, literally, I'll pick it up right now. This thing finally, it doesn't turn off when it's at 75% and plugged in. I was at Pickles doing the pregame show, which I will be there tonight. If you're going to the Orioles game, come say hello. Yeah, it died. I'll have the video. I'll post the video to our members. It died plugged in. And I went, well, we're just going to have to wing it. Good thing I know nothing about baseball, so it turned out okay. But I appreciate you guys. It really has helped, and we're just getting started. We got a soundboard back there. Shout out to Jason Benowitz for helping us find the right match for that. And this is ultimately going to enhance this because we have so many more visions that are going to go beyond giving you this Orioles content. Let's just get this out of the way. Oh my goodness.
Thing I had to point out that Mustard like, come on.
Yeah.
And then you know what, guys? You go ahead, Kevin.
Go back to that. Rocco is the backwards hat type of guy, and that's ketchup. Now relish doesn't necessarily check out for me, but you know, with two or three.
I think relish and ketchup could be shorter personally, but that's for a different time. But at least let's just get this out of the way because then we can get him on the screen and get him off the screen. Rocco's not in studio. Oh my goodness!
Shirtless on stream, Rocco.
I have a shirt on. It's just you know, like a V cut or something like that. Maybe.
No, it's called tarps off. That's what we consider tarps off for the boys.
1,000% off right now. What a day! What a night! What a weekend! Having a blast right now.
I'm proud of you.
How's life, boys? Not on.
Yeah. Hey, did cutting season work out for you?
It actually did. Did a little bit. It did, but I don't know. We still got a ways to go, Brad. We still got a ways to go.
I mean, you got tarps off, so I just figured it was working out.
Hey, you know what?
I mean, it's doing all right. Like, I completely just destroyed my body yesterday with food because it was Ariana's birthday and everything that I could possibly eat. So I feel kind of gross today, but it is what it is. It's a great day.
Well, happy birthday, Ariana, by the way. That's a big look at that. Kevin's even clapping.
Why would I not clap?
Well, you know.
By the way, for the Holy Shirts and Pants crew, if you guys are curious, I mean, Rocco probably feels a little gross because of the pizza that
that was so bad, dude.
Had,
what were we doing,
dude? You know what?
If you weren't privy to that on the Holy Shirts and Pants Club, first of all, hit that join button next to subscribe. What the hell are you doing? And then you can go watch Rocco eat some pretty disgusting pizza at 2:30 in the morning.
The worst part is, Brad, I was sober when I was eating that.
I know, we both were.
So it doesn't look like it, but I 1,000% was, and I was just looking for anything and everything at 2 a.m. in my house to put on that pizza, and I kind of did.
Yeah,
it's fantastic though. Very good.
Well, I'm happy for you. You're a good kid. You're finally getting a little bit of R&R, And we'll see you back here on. You and I have some work to do, I think, on Wednesday. But we'll have you back in here. Joe obviously gives his congratulations to Ariana for putting up with you for another year.
Yeah.
Which is a fair point, but we're happy for her and for you nonetheless. But hey, sit back and relax, Rock. Enjoy yourself.
Gonna enjoy it. I appreciate you guys. Just had to check in, say hello to the boys, say hello to the chat, and get back to it. Maybe I'll join a little bit later when I'm fully clothed and back in the house.
Yep. And again, as always,
you have clothes on.
Yeah. You just got the tarp off there, bud.
Yeah. Well, hey,
we know it's
Rip.
We know
Rip,
it's Ariana's
you don't know
birthday.
that, man. You don't know what's on, what's off right now.
Okay. So, okay.
All right.
See, this is
maybe you shouldn't wear sunglasses then, because we can see all of it, bro.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Shirts and pants. All right, Rock. Enjoy your time.
All right,
Give
boys.
us some updates so we can see how you're doing and we can alert all of our community out there. But
when
be
I have
good.
vicious sunburn, you guys will be the first ones to know. So appreciate you, fellas. I'll talk to you guys later.
Before and after picture.
Oh, before and after would be great.
Yeah,
all right,
I
Rock.
got you.
Be good. You're a good kid. See ya.
Right.
He's a good kid. Good kid. Well, yes, he's a good kid. Again, I was going to pull up another comment, but you know what? We'll be nice to Rocco here. But sunscreen is a must for that guy. He needs to make sure that he's going to be okay with that.
We're short kings and pale kings at the same time. I got the mean farmer's tan going on.
Oh, you would never rival me with the farmer's tan, Kevin.
Well, I don't tan. That's the issue.
Kevin. How do you have a farmer's tan when you don't have a tan?
Well,
it's like a farmer burn.
Farmer burn. Yeah, there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what I got. I got a farmer burn.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm looking a little tan after all.
Although I am very particular with my sunscreen. There's only one type of sunscreen that I will use, and that is it.
Of course there is.
Of course, because you're allergic to the rest of them, probably.
No, actually, I had awful experiences with sunscreen as a kid, and it scarred me for life.
How did you have?
Do we want to know the answer to that?
I don't think we do. Let's get.
Should we move on? Or what do you got?
I think we just go. I don't.
We'll save it for the end.
Yeah, Kevin, tell the story at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Save it for the end. Let's get into the show. And if you're new to the show, hit that like and subscribe button. It's the Ryan Ripken Show. We do this usually every Monday, Thursday, and occasionally Sunday. But we have live post game after Orioles games, which Kevin and Zach are headlining for us. So you will see their beautiful faces each and every day. And we're going to jump on and continue to do our regular programming so we can continue to expand our conversations, right? So that is where we're at. But let's start off with, guys, on more of a sadder note. And we'll start there because I think it's just something that I told you guys I wanted to talk about this. The news in the golf world, PGA Tour, Grayson Murray passed away this past week. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because he was 30 years old, one of the best golfers in the world. And yet, unfortunately, he took his own life. And the hard thing is that his family shared that information pretty quickly about it. And their hope was to try to share awareness. And the reason why I just wanted to bring it up, I know a lot of people that have dealt with depression, a lot of anxiety, and I'll be the first one to admit, and this is why I wanted to talk about it. I have dealt with my own issues. I've been in darker places at times. Haven't felt myself, and it's a hard place to be. And sometimes you might not be able to tell. I think I'm pretty charismatic, right? I think I can be put on a front, but if I can do it, a lot of other people can. And again, I'm good right now. That's not what I'm saying, but I've had moments where I know exactly where you feel like you're alone, and it's terrifying. And so I want people to know out there, and I guess I urge people, if you need help, go seek help. I've seen people, I've talked to people myself, and someone's always there to help you, even if you think you're all alone. We're never in that fight alone, but I think people need to talk about it more so you don't feel like you got to walk it alone. And I just wanted people to understand that. And this is something in my mind. I saw one golfer mention this after. I thought it was really just beautifully said. It was, if you have your friends, make sure you keep checking in on them. And if you are each day, try to give a compliment to someone that you have never met before, because you never know how that can turn around someone's perspective or day. And I really do think little acts like that can bring a lot of good for people. So it's a tough day for his family, but I think it's just a reminder that we got a lot of issues, but don't for a second think that you walk it alone, for anyone that needs to hear that. So I just wanted to say that. And
it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
I think that puts it perfectly, is, that saying obviously gets said a lot, but it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah. And dude, I'll share one more thing with mine. I was so frustrated, and I felt like when I was growing up, I was letting a lot of people down playing. And I remember when I was in junior college, I had a bad game, and I was being told how bad I was, how I wasn't living up to it. And I didn't want to talk to anybody. I threw my phone away. I drove and I hid. And because I just felt miserable. I felt like this is one moment, right? This is not all of them, but I didn't tell anyone where I was going. And I sat there, I was upset, and I felt like baseball's defining me. I'm not living up to everyone's expectation, and people were judging me based off of sport. And I didn't know who I was as a 19-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid. But what I do remember is the amount of people that, one, I scared for being away. And the other part was how many people cared about what I do, and that they didn't care if I ever played another inning of baseball. Mm-hmm. So that's what I want. One thing's not going to define you. And I just want people to also know that. I think sometimes we get caught up with that perception. That's a side note, but just keep that in mind. There's a lot of love and a lot of people out there that are willing to help you. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, again, I want people to think this isn't me just saying it. I've been through my own struggles. Everyone has. Don't be afraid to admit that, because it could help someone down the road. So with that being said, let's move on to the next part, which is in a different sense. And then I swear we're going to get happy again here, guys, because at least with this case, Bill Walton passed away, and it's sad because of the fact that he had cancer and he was such a beloved figure. But with that, man, Zach, I think you have a video here. Bill Walton, what a character, what a human being, what an athlete, what a genuine guy. We're talking about, Brad says it all the time about being our authentic selves. No one described that more, defined that more than Bill Walton.
Yeah, Bill Walton is, when you heard the news, you thought of all the incredible moments that he had on air, and whether it was going off on some side tangent at 1 a.m. in the morning, watching late night Pac-12 basketball, whatever it may be, just everything he did, he wanted to have fun, and he wanted to be in the moment and have fun with other people. And I think it was so cool. And so the video I picked up was Mike Greenberg talking about an example, one of his favorite stories about Walton. And let's take a listen to it, just about how he was always there to have fun and, just kind of a great way to live life.
2006, we did a promotion where people actually got married on our show. It was Mike and Mike, the wedding, and it was one of the biggest promotions we had ever done. And you might notice that's Bill Walton, who is just standing there at this wedding amidst all of these other people, most of whom you don't recognize because they were friends and family of Jason and Catherine, who got married. They were big Florida Gator fans. Exactly. That's why they're doing that. But Bill was just in town, and he knew we were doing this. And he said, that sounds like a lot of fun, Mike and Mike. Can I come to that? And he just came, and the vision of him right there, just towering over absolutely everyone while these people got married on our show. That's George Bodenheimer and John Skipper, presidents of the company and all that. That's who came to this thing. But Bill came because it sounded like fun, and that's what he did. He went where the fun was.
And I love that line at the end. He went where the fun was. And in life, especially sports, we talk about this all the time. Sports are supposed to be fun. That's the whole point of this, is sports are supposed to be fun. There's so much other crap that goes on in the world. Sports are the escape. And I love how Walton really stood for going and finding the fun. And if something's going to be fun, if something that you enjoy is out there, go to it. It doesn't matter if it's a Mike and Mike wedding that, it's on the show on ESPN. And he's like, hey, that sounds like a good time. He's like, I don't know anyone they ain't married, but if we're sitting there, if the Gator mascots are walking down the aisle in, weddings, so like, I'm going to be there. And so it's just a reminder that life's supposed to be fun and, don't take it too seriously and just go have fun.
Yeah, he made an impact on a lot of people too. And I think that's the part of a guy that they said used to be shy. You wouldn't be able to tell that by the fact of how he is and how he grew into such a personality. But the bigger thing was he never changed who he was. Mm-hmm. And this is a small act of him just being a part of someone's journey. But he, over the time, always brought a memory to somebody else. And even if you watch a lot of it, it's all out there too. You want to be defined as someone that you want to go out there and make an impact on someone else's life. And Bill Walton made a ton of impacts. And the fact he ate that cupcake on, that was one of the funniest moments. But he was being, he was just being himself. And Rod, you say lost and all that though was how great of a basketball player he was. Let's not forget that legacy as well. On both the 50th and 75th anniversary NBA teams. YouTube has great highlight reels. Yeah. And I think this is when I was talking about my last point, is that we feel like a game can define you. Like that's what's so great about with Bill, is that Bill was an unbelievable guy. And on top of it, holy hell, dude, he was an unbelievable basketball player that went down as one of the game's best.
Yeah.
Like that's what's awesome.
And Rod brought this up and actually it was talked about in a video today on Part of My Take released a video of a 2017 interview that they'd never released before with Bill Walton. Bill talked about this. So because of his stutter, he didn't feel comfortable talking to people and stuff. He said he didn't feel comfortable having conversations, even saying hello, whatever it may be, with other people until he was 28 years old. I'm 24. Like, that's crazy. Like, think about Bill Walton, like we've talked about, one of the best broadcasters, just best storytellers, one of the greatest NBA players ever. And he was afraid because of his stutter to talk to people until he was 28 years old. Like, it just shows you how so much can change in life. And you just have to keep persistently going to the fun and going what makes you happy.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, life's short. You don't know when your last day is going to be. But, and that's the thing that I'm trying to change personally is like, man, okay, I got today. How can I make fun? How can I make today a day that I will remember and not regret? Because that's at the end of the day, you just don't know. That's why we're blasting music in here. We're having fun. I like to roast Kevin. Who doesn't like to roast Kevin? But it's all out of love. And I think a lot of people see that Kevin, despite his unusual stories, is a very good kid, just like everyone else here. Brad, you have anything else you want to touch on before we move on?
I feel like I did, but you all said it so perfectly that I have nothing else to give. But no, to piggyback on what you were saying, as far as just like having a time with the boys, like I don't want us to ever lose that. Always, no matter how big we get, no matter how crazy things get. I think what we've already built in such a short period of time is only going to get better. But yeah, I mean, continuing to have fun with the show and what we got going on here for sure.
Yeah, we appreciate this, Marcus.
Yeah,
and that's what we try to do. Sports are supposed to be fun, so we have fun here.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, we're gonna have deep conversations, just like Kevin. Oh, he had his eyes closed. Damn, I was trying to get him napping.
You can't catch me.
Kevin was napping.
You could have caught Rocco a couple shows ago, and he was literally sleeping.
Rocco was literally asleep.
I did catch him, but I didn't want to catch him out for everyone to see. I was a
borderline
nice guy.
Snoring.
Yeah, good kid.
Unplug his mic.
Yeah, we might have to next time. But again, like we want this show to be, in general, and I'll get to that. We'll get to that super right after this point. We want this show to be something where we want to talk and entertain you guys, but we also want it to be real. Tell us how you feel. Let's talk about it, and let's make this something that you join. And just another Quantum, I feel comfortable in this community. That's our goal. Build a community where people enjoy being here and being a part of something that they look forward to. And hey, we got a lot more plans that we have to grow with this. So can't wait to add that. And that's why we were going to try to expand and keep making this better for all of you guys. So now, Brad, we missed the super from earlier from Clint. Clint, thank you very much. Kevin, wake the hell up.
I was clapping the second you said it.
Yeah, sure you were.
I got my eyes on Kevin over
Thank you. Good. And Clint and I meant can you pull that back up, Brad, for a second? Sorry. Just wanted to read out. Clint said Urias has no spots, talking about the Orioles. Don't want Norby to sit. Said as the defensive ability overall. Santander / said are the weak links. Stowers / Cowser deserves to play. Great problem to have, but tough on Elias and Hyde. Hashtag O's. So we will dive more into this conversation as we move forward. We appreciate that. And we read this out for everyone as well because we have the audio version, which we release after the video version here on YouTube. It is on Spotify and Apple. Please rate and review for us. That would be fantastic. Now, guys, let's jump on over as we get closer to talking about those Oriole topics. Let's talk about some baseball, some other news. Some things happened, and I guess it affects the Orioles. It affects a lot of Major League Baseball people. Let's start with this one. Angel Hernandez has now officially retired and has umped his final game in Major League Baseball. So, again, talking about something where a profession kind of defines a person, right? I've heard a lot of good stories about Angel doing things off the field. On the field, he doesn't have that reputation.
No, like we said, what he does off the field, that's awesome. Speaking specifically about the umpire, Angel Hernandez, don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Well, he was certainly on the field. I'll tell you that.
He was. I love that description. He was on the field.
When he was on the field, he was on the field.
And there are certain umpires, and there's the Laz Diaz's out there, obviously the CB Buckners. If fan bases know you by name, like umpires, same with like refereeing and stuff. If they don't really know you, that's probably a good thing. That means you're kind of saying. Angel Hernandez was unfortunately known very, very well by every fan base because most of the time there were things that people didn't like, calls he made that people didn't agree with. And that's kind of how he, over the years, became controversial, as they said. I thought that was hilarious. In every tweet by like Jeff Passan, Bob Nightingale, all of them, they all referred to him as they're like the controversial career of Angel Hernandez. It was always the controversial, something like that. So it's interesting. It's what you expected. People are celebrating.
And it's interesting the timing of it all too, right? Like Brad kind of looking at it, it's like, hey, you're retiring mid-season. So it almost makes you feel like, was this kind of talked about too? Where it's like, hey, pressure's on here, or were you ready to really step away? Because usually when you make a commitment during it, Brad, for a season, like, hey, I'm committed, but maybe this was something that it was just the best for both parties. Does that make sense, Brad?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I mean, like Angel Hernandez has been terrible for a very long time, and if there's anybody else like doing a regular job, he would have been fired a long time ago. But to my understanding, it probably had a lot to do with the unions and that sort of thing. So you almost got to wonder if it actually was Angel Hernandez that just said, you know what, I'm just going to hang it up. Or maybe he's got health problems. Hopefully he doesn't have the latter, but you never know. I will say this, that baseball is now the better for it, that Angel Hernandez is no longer working in the MLB.
And even like last year,
he was great for baseball.
Yeah, and I think what people forget is like last year, he was umping in the minors for a while. Like there was for the first half of last year, he was umping pretty much solely the minor leagues. I don't think he umped his first MLB game. I'm not sure if that was helpful.
I think it was he was rehabbing. Like they go on rehab assignments, but he was down there.
Wait, do umpires actually
go on rehab assignments? Yeah, when they get like a concussion or something happens, guys would go down there.
I was thinking like he's got a broken wrist, and they're like, yeah, he's got to go to AA for a game, and then I was like, oh wow, I didn't know they were like that serious. But okay, like a concussion or something. That does make sense.
So that I mean, there's a lot of different reasons if they're trying to get their like footing back, right? But this is the thing that you made a great point here. You don't want to be remembered. You don't want your name to be remembered because of a controversial call of something that goes wrong. As an umpire, it is a job with no glory. You want to just do your job and that be that. But that's the problem right now. You know what's funny, though? Umpiring is still way better than it was 2 decades ago. I urge you guys, we're going to get a video up on that because I always laugh my ass off. I watched this at bat of Brady Anderson recently, and Brady got called out on strike 3. The ball is 8 or is like a good 2 feet in the other batter's box, and the catcher doesn't even bring it back. It's like, oh, strike 3, and Brady's like, you got to be shitting me. You know, so it's things are more magnified now, but because it's more magnified, you expect better results. And for Angel, he has always been, it's not that, oh, Angel, hey, you got this right. It's Angel, you got this wrong in a crucial time. And that is the biggest part. You don't want the umpires to impact the game in that way.
And you talked about, you know, his name not necessarily being known for the best reasons. And it's kind of like what I've alluded to with you'd rather them not know your name. Do you think Jim Joyce would rather no one know who Jim Joyce is?
Yeah, but you know what? I felt bad for Jim because like he was genuinely it crushed him.
Well, no, so that's what I'm saying. I'm like, these guys who will have these great careers, Jim Joyce was an excellent umpire. Like he was one of the top guys, but the Armando Galarraga, no perfect game. You know, that call is all people remember Jim Joyce from. And it's sort of the same with Angel Hernandez, obviously a lot more, you know, small calls here and there of just blatant balls being called strikes, you know, and the other way around. But it is crazy. Like one bad call for an umpire, like massively bad call, can ruin your perception of the league forever.
So 2 things also right here. Steven said that Hernandez had a back injury in 2023. So that could be the reason. But again, when they're injured and they're having to rehab games, the other thing I wanted to point out here, right, Mario Power, Baseball Doesn't Exist, made an excellent video on how Angel and umpires are getting better. And that's true. Like, that's the point. They are getting better, but we're in a day and age where you can look at every damn call. And I mean every single call, and it's magnified. Now the thing is, you're going to make errors. How do you make the least amount of errors? And I think the other part of it too is, I think, is understanding the players need to have respect for it, but then the umpires also need to. That was my biggest thing is, hey, if I'm going to be respectful to you, don't try to say, oh, you're being a player getting mad. I'm like, yeah, if you messed up a call, I'm going to let you know. But don't get mad that I'm calling you out. Then you got to go back and watch the replay. I will go back and say, and I've done this before when I was in the minors, and be like, hey, man, Tom, I did not say that to. Tom, he messed up, and he deserved to know that he messed up from me. But another guy like John, I'm like, I got pissed at John, then went back in. Next game, he was at first base then. And I'm like, hey, John, my bad. I effed up. That's on me. Good call. Sorry. Like, I will go back and say it. Not necessarily umpires are going to do that, being like, hey, my bad on that. Some of them do. Not a lot will. So keep that in mind. Angel Hernandez, though, he's done with Major League Baseball. He's moving on. He's retired. And that is that. And talk about that is that. And this is on a different sense, guys, but moving on, that is that. That is the end of the season for Ronald Acuña Jr. Talk about that as that. That was hard to watch if you are a baseball fan, if you're an Atlanta Braves fan. So for those that don't know, Ronald Acuña Jr., the reigning NL MVP.
With an ACL injury, went in a brutal collision with the wall in the outfield. It was a horrible scene. Ends up missing that World Series year. Then next year pretty much is recovering. He doesn't come back till way late in the season, whatever. Comes back fully healthy last year and unanimously wins NL MVP.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's great. When he's on the field, you see how talented he is.
He's fun to watch.
He's so much fun to watch. I'll put this. He is, if Jorge Mateo put it together for a whole season, it's Ronald Acuña.
On steroids.
Yeah. Like it's one of those things where it's like, it's the 5-tool player where he's just insane he's got the power. He's got the speed. And it sucks as a baseball fan to see someone who's so much fun to watch go down.
And this is the part of it. It's a part of the game, right? But for a Braves team, at least there's one thing. If you are a Braves fan, there's probably not a ton in this chat, maybe the ones that will watch this video later on, they have good players. Now they have been dealing with their own set of injuries and they're trying to battle through, and the Phillies are red hot. I know people in Baltimore going, well, the Orioles got the Yankees, the Braves got the Phillies, and the Phillies are rolling right now. And for the Braves, you're going to have to try to right the ship without your best player. Yep, like you said, they've won a World Series without Acuña Jr. Yeah. But if you can say, are they a better team without him? You can't. And for
They
for
also lost
ambassadors.
Strider. They've also lost Strider.
Exactly.
This year.
So it's we're talking about teams where it's not feeling sorry for them. Like I feel bad for the players, but MLB teams are not going, well, hey, we have our own issues with teams. You got to keep moving. And that's just the brutal part. And go ahead, Brad.
I was just going to say, like, selfishly, I feel like there is part of me that's like, yeah, it sucks. But as an Orioles fan, you're kind of like, man, good thing we got all this depth and this crazy amount of talent that we have on the farm, because we talked about at the beginning of the year why a lot of fans are kind of upset why this player or that player wasn't called up. But you look at how long the season is, and we've talked to Jeff Passan about this too, is just like, it's inevitable. Players are going to get injured. It just sucks that certain ones get injured because of how impactful they are on the team. But, any single, I mean, there's so many prospects down in Orioles farm system that they could all make an impact whenever they get called up. And, these injuries allow so much flexibility when it comes to being able to replace certain players if that time comes.
Yeah. And also, this is a great point, since we talked about it earlier. Terrible for the game. Acuña tweeted that out, that he's sorry.
Yeah.
I hope that he's okay mentally, connecting back to the earlier conversation. Yeah, everyone can say it's a blessing to be able to go out and play a professional sport for a living. It's a blessing to be as talented, but Acuña Jr. puts the work in. He's as a talented player, but he works hard. Coming back from injuries takes a toll on you. I don't care how successful you are, any adversity, any success that you have had in your lives, dealing with tough moments is hard. And for Acuña Jr. now, it's the second time in the recent years where he's felt that he can't go out and live the dream and do what he was hoping to do. And that was be a big reason why this team goes and tries to win a World Series. And I'll tell you what, there's no guarantee. I hope everything. I hope for a speedy recovery. But that's the other part, is an athlete in the back of your head. You're going, what if I don't come back the same way? What if this is the moment? And he's got to have to battle that. That's the hardest thing to do, is to deal with the fact that there's a chance, or at least the worst part is, you are playing a game in your mind on trying to keep yourself stable. So, and that's, again, Mike, baseball is better with a healthy Acuña. A damn shame he got injured again. No doubt about it. Hope the best for Ronald Acuña Jr. Obviously, the Baltimore Orioles are taking on the Braves here in the month of June, that gauntlet month, which we will talk about next show. Moving on then, guys. We were going down this list as we get closer to the Orioles here. And I think, honestly, guys, I think we got a lot of people interested in this baseball talk here. I mean, this is, I'm enjoying it. How about this? You know who's not enjoying baseball so far to start the season? Blake Snell. Blake Snell was that big acquisition in the offseason, right? The deal fell through for him, Jordan Montgomery. Blake Snell comes off winning the NL Cy Young.
Yep.
And instead of getting that big contract, multi-year contract, he's on a 1-year prove-it deal. And so far, he is off to a rough start to the season. And I think the interesting thing is, he was asked about that and asked about missing time to start during spring training. And I think he gave a very interesting answer that we want you guys to listen to, and we're going to react on the other side.
What you've learned so far?
The one thing I would say, like big league spring training, you need it. It's tough to do it. Like, I thought I did everything I could to be ready. And then even just after 2 weeks, like noticing how much better I was throwing the ball, just being here every day. You can't, there's nothing like, you have to go to spring training. So hopefully, I mean, for me, I hope teams see that. And I mean, I don't know what Montgomery's doing, but I bet it's tough for him. Like, it's not easy. So I didn't face a big league hitter until I pitched my first game in the big leagues this year, and it's tough. You just have nothing to go off of. You're just kind of like, oh, let's see what we got. Faced 18-year-olds, but yeah, so it's all excuses, but it's the truth. Yeah.
So that's really interesting here. So for those, if you didn't hear all of it, he's saying, man, I really am feeling not being in a spring training, a full spring training. And he wasn't trying to take a knock there at the end at 18-year-old kids, but it's a difference of big league level hitters getting ready for the season and guys that are trying to figure out how to be professionals. Because that's when he was saying 18-year-olds, he's going on the backfields down in extended spring training to start off, facing guys where they're just intimidated that the Cy Young pitcher's on there, but it doesn't necessarily have the barometer because they haven't experienced the higher levels of the minor league. So very interesting, though. And the value, it's no sugarcoating. It's been a rough start for Blake Snell, Zach.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. He brought up Jordan Montgomery as well, who was in the same boat and actually ended up leaving Scott Boras because of, in part, what happened this offseason in the fact that neither of them got to have a spring training. And they were two guys that people were the front, headliners of the offseason pitching free agents for a long time. And we talk about, let's talk about Corbin Burns with it. During spring training, Corbin Burns struggled and people were like, well, what's going on? Blake Snell just talked about how important it is to get your footing right in spring training and making sure you're going out there and preparing against high-level players, whether you succeed or not. And he's missing that right now. He's going out and trying to have spring training while he's in the big leagues. He didn't face a big league hitter until he got into his first big league start this year for San Francisco. So he has over a 10 ERA right now, which we had a lot of people in our comments saying the Orioles needed to sign Blake Snell. Why don't we just go get Blake Snell? And, a lot of people were saying it's not that simple. Just grabbing the guy right before opening day, sending him out there, assuming he's going to be an ace. And we're starting to see that, it takes time. Do I think Blake Snell's going to finish the year with a 10+ ERA? No, he's going to figure it out. He's still one of the best pitchers in the league. But I think it's important to note that how open he is that, hey, spring training is not just let's go throw the ball around, waste time. And then we're going up to opening day. It's extremely important for pitchers during spring training.
Yeah, and here's the context here for Blake Snell, by the way. Blake Snell, since his first start was against the Washington Nationals, he allowed 3 earned runs. That's tied for the least amount of runs he's given up so far this season. He hasn't gone more than 4 2/3 innings at any point this year. So this is his earned runs in his 5 starts he's made so far. 3 earned runs, 7, 5, 4, and 3. And again, he's not gotten past the 5th inning in any start so far. So yeah, a guy has struggled. Now on the other flip side, Jordan Montgomery actually got off to a solid start his first 2 outings for the Diamondbacks. But the month of May has not been kind to Jordan Montgomery. He's got a 5.6 ERA, which it really is, I guess, more imploded because he had a really rough outing against the Dodgers, 3 innings, 8-0 loss, and 6 of those runs were earned to him. But spring training matters for a lot of guys. Baseball is not the sport where you can be like, yep, I'm going to go and play. I'm good. You need time to react here, Kevin. Just like, don't you feel better when you're prepped? You know what you're talking about. And then you go and execute, Kev. Like you were thinking, I got these brooms. I'm going to eat this relish. Now, the execution's one thing, but at least you had the plan in place for it to kind of roll off more efficiently, consistently.
No, it's true. I think everybody, whatever, you're doing, some sort of a tune-up is needed. Some people don't need it as much. Other people need more of it. But as Zach said, this is Blake Snell's spring training right now. The difference is that these games count.
Yeah.
These games are what matter. So I agree. Blake Snell, he's a good enough pitcher. He's a great pitcher to the point where, I think as he gets more into a groove, his ERA is going to go down. He's going to put out better performances. But that's the type of thing where you wait and you wait and you wait. And we saw this with it was 4 different Boras clients, wasn't it? Where these guys are signing before the season starts, a month, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, right before opening day. And you can be working out on your own, throw in and doing everything with your team. But once you get into a big league situation, it's different. We talk about it in all different sports, whether you want to talk about football or basketball or baseball or hockey, whatever sport you want to talk about. The preseason is important. Now, some players need to tune up more than others, as I said, but for Snell, it was a perfect storm of not great things that I think has led to this start.
And real quick, we talk about baseball being a sport of failure in so many, Blake Snell can go out there and feel like he delivered 9 out of 10 pitches to his liking. But that one pitch hangs in the zone and is hit 450 feet. And now suddenly you're down 1-0 in the first. So, for pitchers especially, like you have to get everything going in the right direction, especially confidence wise, in spring training and stuff. So that's what you see here is like, even in the starts that he's doing better, it's the one or two. I saw a comment here talking about how he lives in the zone and he's not getting strikeouts. Yeah, it's in part due to the pitches that he was getting the strikeouts on last year that were fooling hitters. He's hanging right now. He's not getting the right feel. And instead of a strikeout, it's a double.
Yeah, I mean, and just to your point, or to talk about your point, and then Kevin can close it out here. Of those games right now, Blake Snell has not had a single outing without a walk. And if I'm looking at this correctly right now, only one of his 5 outings, he's had, 4 of his 5 outings, he's had 2 or more walks. So that's been a problem so far where he's not keeping that down. And then the strikeouts aren't as high right now. So that combination is not great. Kevin, last point.
Yeah, and we even talk about in spring training, and specifically we had the conversation about Corbin Burns where he was, all these pitchers, spring training is the opportunity for you to experiment with some stuff to say, is this going to work in a game situation? How does this pitch look? I added this to my repertoire. Let's see how it plays out. Where can I locate this ball? And again, Blake Snell had none of that. So maybe he's trying to figure out where are my spots this year, what feels good, what doesn't, and he's doing that when the games count. So it's a good thing for these guys to have the tune-ups. And for Snell, he's experimenting when the games count, and that it's not a good formula.
Yeah, you need to tune it up. You need the tune-ups, tune them up, because that's the one time you can really work on things. Once the season starts, you got to deal with the ups and downs, and you're not trying to figure it out anymore. You're just trying to grind through and figure out how you can help the team, not figure out if this one specific pitch is going to be something you're going to use this year. So it's a good point. It's a good talking. It's a good conversation. And guys, this I think we're going to do this more. These MLB topics, I think that's great because we got a lot of baseball fans in here as well. And it's a good time to segue in for 3 things, actually, Brad. We're going to start with this first one where we want to pay thanks initially to our friends over at the Hollywood Casino to start here. And by the way, Hollywood Casino up in Charlestown races, specifically West Virginia. Brad, how long did it take for us to get up there?
From Owings Mills, Maryland, it was an hour on the dot.
Yeah, really not that far. That's where Kevin had his famous photo shoot in the catcher's gear, which James McCann really tore down respectfully. And then we saw some up and down results from the rest of the group, but we're going to do more live shows back up there. But again, I don't know about you guys. I'm a fan of complimentary. Complimentary sounds neat. And if you're a Penn Play card member and you use your Penn Play card up at Charlestown, you get complimentary beverages the rest of the way out. But guys, they don't do that in DC, Maryland, or Virginia, just in West Virginia.
Yay! Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. All right, continue.
That was perfect. And again, as always, you got to be 21 or older. They asked Kevin about 3 times if he was above the age of 16.
They did ask us if our whole group was above 21. Once
they respectfully asked about the whole group, but I think everybody knew who they were really asking.
Yeah, specifically you. And as always, if you got a gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yep.
That's just the name of the game. And the other part too, we didn't plug it last time, Brad, but we got that SeatGeek code. And I know it's the one-time offer here. If you want $20 off the next time you buy a ticket to a sporting event, go to SeatGeek and enter the code Ripken. I will spell it out for you guys. It is RIPKEN. Ripken. You put that in there, Brad, $20 off. We're just people trying to help out other people. Is that fair to say?
Gotta love it. That's right. So $20 off the next time you buy tickets to any sporting event. Go on to SeatGeek.com and enter that code Ripken. Which, by the way, why does everybody always spells your name wrong? No, I don't want to say everybody. A lot of people commonly spell your name wrong. And even I've seen this on Sirius XM radio where they put it's KIN and not KEN.
Yeah. Rip
so common.
Ken. Rip Ken. Like, like Barbie and Ken, Kevin?
Yeah.
I know. I saw the movie. I watch movies.
Well, I don't know about that because Mike makes a great point here.
I saw a movie the other day.
They could smell the fact that you haven't watched Austin Powers.
Well, guess what? I watched the movie Iron Claw the other day.
That's a good movie.
It is.
I'm
Good
proud
shit,
of you.
Kevin.
Thank
That is
you.
a good movie.
That is a good movie. And Brad,
Top one.
because you always have something going on. What's going on in our polls here before we dive on into some Orioles work?
It's a controversial one.
Oh, boy.
And I've been getting better at these as far as like getting split votes, and this is very much down the middle. Does pineapple belong on pizza? 38% say yes, 46% say no. I do have other options here, as if you were, for example, so if you were indifferent about it, 14% of you guys said that you were indifferent, and 2% have never tried it. Discuss,
I
gentlemen.
had to put my thinking glasses on here. Kevin, you're about to say something, aren't you?
I mean, I'm fine with it, but it's not my first or second or third or fourth or fifth or sixth choice.
What is your first choice?
This has been documented. I'm a mushroom on pizza.
Yeah,
guy.
I remember that.
And
That's
that got
number
a lot,
one.
Got a lot of hate.
It's number one.
That's number one.
Okay.
That's number one.
Okay. You know what? I'm a man that respects. People don't respect my hot
Thank
dog
you.
takes, but I respect.
Are you a plain pizza guy too? Plain hot dog, plain pizza guy?
No, when I'm no. Zach, give your point, and then I'll say mine.
I'm just gonna say I'm indifferent. I don't kind of like Kevin. It's just not like it's not something that I'm like, yo, make sure we got some pineapple on that pizza. But if it's on it, I don't think I'm gonna be like, especially if it's like a Hawaiian pizza. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh, get that off. But I'm not gonna go out of my way to order pineapple on pizza. So I'll say I'm indifferent. I'll be with the 14%.
Yeah, I would definitely eat pineapple pizza. I actually like a lot of toppings. I like toppings on my stuff. Condiments different. I do like hot sauce, by the way. I wanted to clarify that. But toppings on pizza, yeah, pineapple, ham, bacon, sausage, mushroom, veggies, you name it. I'm in on that. I am in on all of that. It's all good.
Yeah,
Now
I'm the same way. Throw all the toppings on the pizza, and I'm happy. Like Supreme pizzas, every time. Sign me up. But yeah, pineapple too. You put pineapple, something a little spicy on there, like jalapeno or pepper, something like that. It's a great combo.
It's a great combo. It's great. I really do enjoy a good pie. It makes me. I'm very hungry now. I might have to go to the Iron Rooster. They might be closed by now. It's going to go to the Iron Rooster and
Just
get.
walk downstairs.
Yeah, might do that as well. But I know. I just love going over to the Iron Rooster with Kyle and sitting down there at the bar, eating way too much food because he just gives me too many Roost Tarts, which apparently there might be some new Roost Tarts in the making.
Ooh.
Is there really?
There might be. I don't know.
Sign me up.
I don't know.
Sign
I don't
me
know.
up. Look, you know,
Well-
my favorite. What's your favorite thing on the Rooster menu, by the way?
I'm a creature of
You have
habit. I get the California Club omelet every time. And then I'm also, if I'm really hungry, and we worked out, it's 2 eggs on the side with an English muffin over medium eggs. And then Kyle sends me back with like 5 Roost Tarts, which again, go to you guys here. So don't give me a look, Zach.
Yeah, no,
We'll
I
tear
was
it up.
giving you, I was going to say, just because you brought their chicken nuggets with the fire honey is just
Yeah.
insane.
Oh,
just
yeah.
I was just about to say that the buffalo
incredible.
sauce is fire.
That's what it should be. Mini chicken nuggets with the fire honey on the pizza.
Ooh,
Yes,
I
you
like
see
that.
that is a good take.
Yeah, clap for yourself.
No, I'm clapping for you for
Oh.
finally giving a
Thanks.
good
Yeah,
take.
thank you. Sorry, I got a little aggressive.
Yeah, you did. That was angry Kev. That's sleep deprived Kev there.
No, well, yeah, I've been trying to catch someone clapping for themselves. Actually, funny story. I don't know if any of you remember this, but the first time I came in studio on the show, Ryan, when you introduced me, I clapped for myself.
Yeah. You know what? We're gonna have to go back and watch that show.
Not surprising.
And I've been thinking about it every day. I'm just kidding. I haven't. But
Well, clearly you're thinking about it today.
I am.
Oh, sugar, Kevin. You're a good kid. I don't care what everyone thinks about
Thank
you
I
and
was
how
gonna- I was
long the
gonna ask
countdown
another
is.
question, but we don't have to. It's a pizza question.
Well, I
Mhm.
want to get to Justin's question real quick. First off, Justin, appreciate you. That's when you clap, Kevin. Good shit.
There you go, Kevin.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Do you want me to
So,
answer the
yeah,
question?
He says, so Ryan, what's your take on the Chicago dog?
Yeah,
Do you
I
know
would.
what's on a Chicago dog?
I'm trying to remember it now. Honestly, it's a good question. Usually, but the answer is I do like it. Now I just want to clarify. I didn't like it growing up. So the plain hot dog for me originated where I just wanted it plain, no toppings as a kid. It's the same thing with my preferences with pizza and everything growing up. That evolved, but I still hold the take of a hot dog is a good dog with no condiment. That's just my opinion. What
You want to know what's on? You need a reminder once.
Yeah, go. Just remind me. Oh, it's
Appreciate you, Justin.
It's beef frankfurter on poppy seed bun, topped with yellow mustard, chopped white onions, bright green sweet pickle relish, dill pickle spear, tomato slices or wedges, pickled sport peppers, whatever the hell they are, and a dash of celery salt.
Oh,
it's a lot of shit on there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I will say, I've had a Chicago dog once, like 2 years ago. Incredible.
Yeah.
It's big Chicago dog guy.
Yeah, I'm a big Chicago dog guy, but again, that's like it's with toppings on dogs like that. Like that's going to be once in a while here. Yeah, I'm getting one, absolutely. But on a normal basis, give me a plain dog. That's just how I roll here. Yeah, they're good. I think we're in agreement here. Look at this, minus Kevin.
Yeah,
you're a good kid, Kevin. All right, let's move on. A lot of people like Chicago. Chicago. Not a great series for the White Sox.
I was gonna sing the song.
When I'm back in Chicago, I feel.
Yeah.
If you guys are gonna sing, at least
you know that song, Kevin.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's popular online right now.
I'm cultured.
But the other thing too, if you're gonna sing it, like use your fucking big boy voice, not.
Well, I didn't know the words. I was like trying to go off of Zach's lead, but then Zach also didn't know the words.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
So
we just know the TikTok sound.
we were trying to do it, but we weren't very confident in what we were doing.
This generation, I tell you what. All right, let's move on. This is an interesting one here as we move into our first kind of discussion with the Orioles and Orioles players per se. Here it is. Bob Costas recently on MLB Network has a list of the top 5 players right now for himself. And spoiler, one of those players is in the top 5. The reason why we're going to talk about this is, do you think that is a fair list to talk about with his top 5 players? So we're going to play that and react on the other side to Bob Costas' top 5 MLB players right now.
It was right now. So Acuña is not on my list, and we only have, a couple of months now into this season, and Acuña had a phenomenal year last year, but he's off to a slow start. So my list is Shohei Ohtani, and ordinarily I'd put an emphasis on all-round players. He's only a DH, but he's, on another planet. He's a different guy. Ohtani, Mookie Betts, not just for his offensive numbers, but his willingness as a superstar to do anything that helps the team.
Plays a good shortstop,
and learn a new position, and he's improved. Yeah. Considerably since the beginning of the year. We've talked about what Soto has done in New York. Ordinarily, I would be reluctant to go with a guy who has fewer than 1,000 major league at-bats, but Gunnar Henderson is on another level right now. There's lots of good young shortstops in the game. Henderson is above all of them at the moment. And Kyle Tucker, who was always a good player, has now become a great player. The on-base percentage, the slugging percentage, the fact that he's going to walk more than he strikes out. He plays a superlative right field, so I snuck him in there. You can make a case for Judge. You can make a case for the perpetually underappreciated Jose Ramirez.
You don't have Judge in your top 5.
I didn't.
That's a bad job.
That's a bad job right there.
Good job, bad job right now.
I can do it, Bob. Do it, bad job.
It's a bad job. You have a DH number 1. Look, I look at it like when we say right now, meaning for this season. Like, who are you looking at for this season? Acuña wouldn't make my top 5 either. All right, I want the...
Okay, well, so the point is right now. Right now. And yes, right now, that's an interesting list. So again, for those that wanted to see, we got Ohtani, Mookie. Why am I blanking? I just had Soto, Gunnar, Kyle Tucker. And so it's a very, very, I think it's a very good list. Now, Ohtani, he's just DHing, so his value for this season is just for DHing. He's a pretty damn good hitter, though. I understand why. I want people to understand before we make the case for top 5. Aaron Judge, obviously tremendous player. Kyle Tucker's got 18 jacks right now and 39 RBIs on a Astros team that's trying to get going. So he's played fantastic ball. Juan Soto, it speaks for itself. Gunnar Henderson, I 1,000% agree that's the shortstop that I want. But is there one other player that's missing, or do you guys want to go around the list? I think, Brad, you had one that you would think should be in that list.
Yeah, Bobby, what is this? Slugs Red, I guess. Put it up here for me. Bobby Witt Jr. I think should be on the list. I think you could take Kyle off there, put Bobby on. But honestly, like, and look, I know that lots of times people will gawk at the offensive numbers, but in my opinion, on that list, just on that list, there isn't a better defensive player either than Gunnar Henderson, which is why I think that should elevate him to the top of that list. Yes, he is playing unbelievably well offensively, but I think a lot of his defensive play gets overlooked. Some of the plays that he makes at shortstop are absolutely insane. Stuff that we've never seen anybody else do this year. And he's done it multiple times that people can't replicate this year.
Yeah, I mean, Gunnar, there's a reason why he's going to play shortstop. There's a reason why I felt, since I've seen him so far, got it kind of there, is that Gunnar Henderson is so talented and he's got great range to play the shortstop position. Now, Bobby Witt Jr. up there obviously impacts the game in other ways. Mookie Betts, man, I'll tell you what, that dude is a beast all the way around. Right now, if we're looking at OPS for players, Aaron Judge is actually at the top now, guys, after his historic May. He's been crushing. Then Ohtani, Kyle Tucker, Marcell Ozuna is sitting in the top 4 with that category. Then you have Soto, Betts, Henderson to round out the top 7. Do you guys want to take a guess on who the 8th highest OPS in all of Major League Baseball is right now?
Can you give me the division?
What division?
Okay, division, AL West.
Is it Brent Rooker?
It's Brent
Stinking
Rooker with a 933 OPS.
Some people think I don't know ball.
Don't know. Zach Bollinger does not know ball except for this trivia question.
Brent Rooker.
Rooker's got a 933 OPS, 11 jacks, 34 RBIs, friend of the show, and he missed a little bit of time so far too. So how about that? But you can make the case for a lot of guys here, right? You guys have any objections, Zach?
I think Kyle Tucker has to be higher if we're going off this year.
Okay.
So here, let me pull this up. So I just compared the bottom 3 guys, and here are where they rank this year against each other. And it's Kyle Tucker is underratedly having
a really good year.
One of not a really good year, one of the best years in baseball. And I think obviously this shows just offensively. So if we want to add in defense, I think that's why I'm okay with Gunnar being ahead of him. But man, just the bat, he leads Gunnar in pretty much every category except for WAR. And it is just really, Kyle Tucker's having an insane year right now. But then again, like Brad brought up, Bobby Witt Jr.'s got to be, if he's not 5, he's 6. Yeah. So it's
or you know what, too?
Very tough.
I'll retract my previous statement and take Shohei off. Keep Kyle on and put Bobby Witt Jr. I'll replace Bobby Witt Jr. with Shohei. Because look, I understand that Shohei is absolutely ridiculous, but he is just a DH. And I think that you have to take defense into account. If you're talking about the MVP, the MVP of the Dodgers right now is Mookie Betts, hands down. But like we're talking about the most valuable player, you got to be able to play both sides of the ball, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and Ohtani can steal bags, right? But the thing is, you're limited when you're not out there on the field right now.
Yeah, and no DH has ever won MVP. So we'll see if that lasts this year. But like you're saying, Brad, it is, when you look at the whole player, you have to take into account that kind of like how we have to take into account in most years that Shohei's not only hitting insane, but he's pitching. We have to take into account this year that he's only hitting. So,
And the other part too, it's another list of questions, which I guess players are always in this position or are undervalued. Like, so Adley Rutschman, I heard some people's rumbling of his name in there. Would you put Adley up there in the top 5? I don't know if you're going to put him in the top 5, but catching is so important. Adley's hitting 300 with 10 bombs right now. And if I'm actually going through the by position here for catchers, it's William Contreras leads all catchers in OPS. Salvador Perez, Will Smith on the Dodgers, then Adley Rutschman. But Adley Rutschman is tied for second, or sorry, he's in second with home runs. He is third in RBIs for catchers. So it's just a different position. And now I see you upgraded and added Bobby Witt Jr. to that conversation. And that war is, I don't like going into the war, conversations here, but it is interesting just to compare. These players are so damn good.
So good.
They're so good. This is like Kevin and T-ball. If there was no players out there and Kevin could just run freely. And actually, I have doubts you can hit the ball off the tee, Kevin. But
I could. I get batting cage. I'm crushing the ball.
We're gonna have to make that happen.
Yeah, but so it's a great conversation. That's why we wanted to bring it up here. Let us know if there's any others that are left off this. Whoever watches this video or you're watching it live now, let us know in the comments if there is other players that MLB should consider, or Bob Costas or anybody deserves more credit. Because what I do love the fact is Kyle Tucker having an amazing season. Those other 4 players are also having tremendous seasons, but they aren't the only ones that are making some crucial impacts for their big league ball clubs. All right, guys, let's keep moving on to a little bit of O's chatter here. And this kind of, maybe as we take a ride now, we got to put my glasses on because it's sunny here. And Kevin, let's take a ride in our Adams Jeep. Kevin,
sometimes you're like Risco opposite. Like you don't hold, like when you try it, like you.
I don't know what that is.
That Kevin, can you do that again? It's like a dance move, real quickly. Okay, no, you don't.
That's the dance. This is
Kevin's like trying to hit him with the little, shimmy.
Yeah. We'll work on that.
What that is.
I don't know what that is, but I don't want to be in the car if you're driving your car like that. But our friends up at Adams Jeep of Maryland in Aberdeen, Maryland, it's that beautiful sign right behind Zach right there. Heyo, they big supporters of the show since the beginning here, and they're 45 minutes north of Baltimore, and the deal still stands. You go up there and you say, hey, we love the Ryan Ripken Show, and you buy a pre-owned vehicle from Adams Jeep of Maryland, and you tell them that you think Rocco sucks, you think Kevin has a terrible driving habit, or in general, they just say, or you tell them, Chuck and Matt, we love the Ryan Ripken Show. You get a $500 gas card with a purchase of the vehicle. Apparently, they sold that Orioles Jeep a while back there. They might make another one. If someone buys an Orioles Jeep from them and you customize it, hell, we'll go right along with you for wherever it's going to be. So keep that in mind as well. And we'll get Nick Moore back on here to do it too. And we got a few things to jump into here. We'll save Clint's for a second because that can jump into the conversations. Actually, no, Clint right now. Clint, thank you so much.
Clint, appreciate it.
Thank you, Clint.
So Clint says to add with the way Mateo is playing, there's no need to rush Holiday back or move Westy to second base and put Mayo third base once healthy. Mateo's raking. Yeah, Mateo's playing with a lot of confidence. There's no doubt about that. And the biggest thing is he looks fluid at second base. And you guys, everyone in here in this room understands what he can bring to the table. But the biggest thing is you guys see playing defense up the middle is so important for a ball club. And Mateo is very comfortable with turning double plays. He seems to be in the right spots. He's got tremendous range. So combining him on one side with Gunnar Henderson, it's a tremendous duo. And if he can keep hitting the ball like he has and getting on base, hey, it's a bonus that we all talked about. So we'll see. And Tim, get up, Kevin. You already know.
Kevin.
I can't see it. Oh.
Kevin, get up, Kevin. Kevin, get up.
Clap in his face,
Kevin, clap.
Kevin, get in his face. Yeah. Oh, wait.
No, again. Yeah, get up.
We missed it. Go get in his face, Kevin.
And that's.
I love Kevin. I love this kid.
Yeah, I mean that was for the comment.
So you're milking cows. You're a good kid. Goodness gracious. Really good kid, Kevin. I don't care what they say about you.
Well, actually, we go back to Clint's point for a second, we talked about that on the post game. Shameless plug. We now do Orioles post game live streams, so be sure to tune in to those. But with Jackson and Mateo's playing out of this world baseball right now, and I think everybody had this assumption of like, oh, Jackson's going to be back at some point. He's going to be playing every day again, but you know. He has a role on this team at some point, right? We're not saying he's, this is it for Jackson, but when do you bring him back?
Well, and that's going to be the debate here is you don't have to be in a rush. You can literally let him go and continue to develop. And he wants to get up to Baltimore soon. He wants to help out the team. But Mateo is proving that he is holding it down well. You have options. You no longer have to push the accelerator on Jackson. He's already accelerating at a fast rate. And this is the big context of it. He's accelerating at a fast rate, maybe not as fast as what it turned out to be for Paul Skenes for the Pittsburgh Pirates here, which again, guys, maybe moves into our new segment, which we like to call fact or crap. We're getting crap is off the screen, Zach.
Roll on, baby.
What's up, Kevin?
Well, no, I was just going to say one more thing is, about Jackson, which again kind of parlays into what we're going to talk about, is all of us on the show agreed that if Jackson's going to be up, he needs to be playing every day. This can't just be him sitting on the bench for 6 out of 7 days and then getting a spot start here and there. These guys are playing great, and I agree with Ryan. We're like, you don't have to rush him up and call him up. I saw, just move Mateo back to the outfield.
We have too many outfielders right now.
Exactly. I know Zach is the leader of the do not put Jorge Mateo back in the outfield club. So
we have so many. We have too many outfielders. We're already trying to fit in. Yep. We can't put another outfielder in the.
And he's playing incredible. He's playing incredible in the infield right now. Like there's no need to mess that up. So Jackson will have a role on this team. There's no doubt about it. But again, you're in a luxury spot right now if you're the Orioles. You don't have to rush the guy along. You don't have to put him in a spot that you don't need to put him in right now because you have other guys stepping up.
Yep. And so this is kind of what leads us into it. We developed this new segment here. It was kind of around Mythbusters, but then turned into somehow fact or crap. In this case, on ESPN, they put out a ranking now that they have a new number 1 prospect, which he's going to lose his prospect status here. That's Paul Skenes taking over at the number 1 spot. Different circumstances, but then the question is going to allude to, and I don't think that it's a fair comment, but people were going for a while, is Paul Skenes going to be the better overall player than Jackson Holiday, better overall prospect? So let's talk into a little bit of fact or crap with this. I think it is the fact Paul Skenes is the best pitching prospect since Steven Strasburg. And Steven, when he was healthy, that was one of the most electrifying debuts, first off, but one of the best arms we've seen. And he helped the Nationals win a World Series. He's off to a pretty damn good start here so far, but he's coming out of college, just like Strasburg. Jackson's coming out of high school and is a position player. But Paul Skenes is everything that you can hope for, Zach, being advertised. And I mean, I think we have the graphics so far of that 3D of what Paul Skenes has done so far. And if you're a hitter, by the way, look at this 3D animation here on Skenes' 8 strikeouts and 3 1/3 innings here. He had the other start. I'll be able to pull it up. There it is. So that's one way to look at it.
101.3 right here.
And look at the movement on this. That's not fun. I'm not having fun.
Wait,
go ahead.
I want to pause this real quick. So just so everyone's clear, he followed up the pitch before was 101.3 mile per hour fastball that looked like it was going down the middle, cuts up to the outside, upper outside corner. Then the next pitch was an 87 mile an hour changeup that had the exact same release point and then just dives. Like he is insanely hard to hit for that reason.
Yeah, it's like a split change that he has too. He can throw a pitch 100, then he can throw another one like 95. Then he has that slider. You can look at the reason why we wanted to show you this. It's the way the ball's moving, and there's no doubt about it. If Paul Skenes stays healthy, I agree. I think he is going to be one of the top pitchers. Now, the one question is going to be Brad and Jeff Passan said it in the past. You're always going to worry when you throw that hard, is something like that, can he sustain himself? But, as far as staying healthy, but the eye test wise, Brad, he looks like the guy. And this Pittsburgh Pirates staff, they got the right guy at the top of the draft.
Yeah, the guy's absolutely ridiculous. I don't think that there's anything that we can dispute from that. As far as being replaced with the top, as far as the top prospect, or I'm sorry, as far as Jackson Holliday being replaced as top prospect with Skenes. If we look at it right now and the way that Skenes has been playing versus the way that Holliday has been playing, I don't know if I would necessarily disagree with this. I think that Skenes is just the best player and pitcher in as far as the farm system is concerned. So I don't know if I necessarily disagree with that, but there is a difference between what ESPN's putting out and what the MLB is putting out. And I think that that's what we're trying to debunk here a little bit in that fact or crap scenario, right? So fact, Paul Skenes is probably the best come up player in the minor leagues. And then obviously now he's in the big. So yes, I think he probably deserves that top prospect spot, but doesn't mean he's actually the top prospect at MLB. Is that right, Ryan?
Yeah, I think that's you're looking at the long-term thing here, and age does play a factor in it. And right now, like, who's ready to help their team right now? Who is quote unquote big league ready to go? That's Paul Skenes. Like, he is ready. He fits the bill. He throws 101. He is dominating big league hitters. Really, really good. But for Jackson, they're trying to project out over the next 10 years. And so there's nothing that's changed for Jackson, by the way. It's just that everyone, because he jumped through the system so damn quickly, is that everyone's expecting him to continue at that rampant pace. And that to me is not fair, because he needs to, in my opinion, continue to get at bats. The biggest thing of learning yourself, this was something that I personally believe, is that when you are going through the minor leagues, I like to think, and I'm trying to get his total at bats. It's like right when you get to 1,000 at bats in professional baseball, I think is when you really kind of get a grip of who you are as a player.
And when you say professional baseball, you're talking minor leagues,
yes,
and everything. All right.
Yeah, minor leagues and minor leagues specifically. After 1,000 at bats, like, you really are getting a grip on it. At this current moment, Jackson has 683 at bats so far in his minor league career. So, and again, it's unbelievable. And yeah, that's a lot of at bats. But if you think about it, in a big league season, you play every day, you're pushing towards that number, 500, 600 at bats in one season. This is someone that is just starting off this is early in his professional career, being 20 years old and at a higher level.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about, so to put in perspective, Gunnar Henderson has, I think it's like 985 MLB at bats. So picture how long Gunnar has been in the majors, how much we've seen him. And it's not a lot. It's literally just less than 2 years. And then think about taking just 2/3 of that. That's what Jackson has seen at every single level, from low A all the way to the majors at this point. So like, it is tough. Like you said, you don't have a lot to go off right now. And it's hard to get comfortable and get into a rhythm when you haven't been playing this level of competition for that long.
Yeah, and also for those that are saying about he's struggling or things are going on, yeah, he's hitting 268 right now there. He still has an OPS of 877. His on-base percentage is 426. He's slugging 451. But again, it's when you need to take that next step. And I think it was this, everyone in anything that you do needs to be humbled, right? And Kevin has that look because he's thinking about all the times that I actually just humbled him right behind there on the NBA Jam. Kevin was humbled. And he gets it.
Well, you were goaltending my shots.
Oh my
gosh.
Oh my goodness.
It's NBA Jam, bro.
Kevin, you just were getting taken behind the woodshed. It was tough, man. It was
First
tough.
of all, I will say too, like there are some, we need to do more for the Holy Shirts and Pants Club as far as our epic battles on NBA Jam.
Yeah, I uploaded one.
I
recently.
challenge you live on stream to NBA Jam after the stream.
Live on stream after the stream?
Yeah, you can stream to the Holy Shirts and Pants Club.
I'm challenging him right now on stream.
Or
after
and we'll document.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
I got
it.
There's
no one beats me and Brad. No one beats me and Brad.
Say. There's no better rivalry in sports.
You can say that's a great rivalry, but you don't know how I play. So don't knock it. You guys got a great best rivalry in this show, no doubt about it. No doubt about it for sure.
Yeah, last week me and Brad went to double overtime insane.
It's the games that people need to see, no doubt about it. But if
I've never seen a scorcher like Zach went on in that second
Oh
overtime.
my
Did not
God.
miss a single shot.
I was.
Oh, they were all threes.
Every single one.
Every single one. All right, now heel sentiment. Let's bring it back in here. Humbled. That's the point I was trying to make. Being humbled is important in whatever you do, and it's not in a bad way, but you have to be reminded that you still need to make adjustments, because right when you think you have it figured out, you got to keep going. And for Jackson, first time he really struggled in any capacity, and people are magnifying his issues at the big league level. Everyone's talking about it. I believe in him long term. It's just something that you need to go through those struggles. I mean, I remember a time, and again, I use my personal experiences. I've used other players I've been around. I remember a time then, and just the example of it, because he turned out pretty well. Somehow they thought his jersey should be retired here, but Calvin hit 0 home runs his first year in pro ball and had like the record for errors that year at shortstop. And that was demoralizing for him. But hey, you figure it out. That was at a young age. I think the better off, I think Greg Olson said this when we had the one-on-one interview, the football player, Greg Olson, who's now the Fox broadcaster. It's better to try to learn it sooner, because when you get older and you struggle, if you haven't dealt with that yet, it's just a harder learning curve at the moment. So we'll see what happens. Now, I do want to address this question. Samuel, appreciate it. Not giving up on Holiday, but I am wondering, I think he's going to be a stud 100%, but is it worth giving him up for Mason Miller? No, it's not.
Not for
No
a
chance.
closer.
No.
Not for a closer. You don't
No.
give up the number one prospect for a guy that you hope pitches 60 innings for in a game, in a year.
And also, too, you don't know how long it's going to last. You have guys that revert from starters that become back-end bullpen guys later in their career. There's just way too much variance in that, especially when you're looking at a guy like Jackson, who's so young. Now, a different player that could be under team control, even saying starting pitching, that's a different conversation. Not that I would make the move, but that would be something when you're looking at a player's longer term. Does that make sense? Like, that's where, and again, like, I still don't even, Jackson's not going anywhere. You know, that they have big plans for him in Baltimore. They just don't have to rush those plans right now for him in Baltimore.
You're good, Sam. You know, these are the questions we like to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, this is, because trust me, you are not the only person that has ever said that. We get that all the time of whether or not
Every day.
they should be. Yeah. So
do
not worry.
No, and also I have been, on another note, I got humbled playing pickup basketball game with my dad when I was in high school. Like, I like to think I had some solid game. This guy came from overseas, came back to play in the pickup game, and roasted me. And I mean, that I was like, he took me to the cleaners. He took my lunch money. He told me after it, he goes, "Hey, I don't care that you're 15. He goes, "You're 15, you're 33. I'm going to whoop your ass." And I'm like, damn. All right. And that's essentially what you're seeing at the big league level. They don't care how old you are. They don't care how great people tell you they are. This is my job. I'm going to prove to you that you can't handle what I can do. That is what every professional is doing. So keep that in mind as we keep moving on here. I do want to, I think we're doing well right now here. You guys doing okay over there? And everyone out there.
Is this the biggest betrayal of 2024?
What?
It's not popping up. Oh God, my computer's about to.
Oh my God, Joe. No, I will say Joe over the past week or so, I've seen him slowly started to say that maybe Kerstead just needs a shot somewhere else. I know it hurts Joe's heart, but Joe, I think Heston's saying, I think they see too much in him to just send him off unless something really good happens.
We'll see what happens there. And also, while we take this quick little break for a second to breathe, hit that like and subscribe button for the Ryan Ripken Show. We do it every Monday, Thursday. Today we're doing it Tuesday because of the holiday, but our regular scheduled shows are Monday and Thursday. Kevin and Zach both do live post-game shows, which other of us gentlemen can hop on the show, but those guys are headlining it. The Orioles have won 5 straight since they've started that program, so you guys will see them later tonight. And we go live when things are necessary as well. So hit that like and subscribe button. Join the Holy Shirts and Pants membership as well. Again, it helps everything that we're trying to build here, and we really, really do appreciate that. So please hit that like and subscribe button. And I guess the last thing on this that we want to talk about before I do let me ask you guys this question here, Kevin and Zach. Do we want to just do the Ravens talk real quick, and then I can get ready to do the Kyle Stowers? Like that's the final breakdown.
Yeah,
or do you want me to
just do that?
I do think also, even though we do the post-game live shows, we haven't really broken down anything that happened over the weekend right now.
Yeah.
Didn't talk about the game yesterday, really, today.
Well, so
We
the
won.
thing, they won, Kevin,
Well,
and did we talk about it on the live stream?
Yes, but for this, we don't have to talk about it for 30 minutes, but
Kevin, they won the game. They scored a lot of runs.
that's all I
that's it.
wanted. That's all I wanted. There we go.
Kyle Stowers played really well. Cole Irvin pitched really well. Team did pretty well.
See, look at that. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
Cole Irvin grinded. And by the way, I just was texting with Cole Irvin here. This is something. This is actually what we need to talk about. So Cole Irvin, if you guys don't know, show of hands. You guys know who Cole Irvin is?
Cole Irvin, Truthers, stand up.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, friend of the program here.
By the way,
Cole,
invite to play ping pong at the studio is still open, Cole, if you're watching.
Yeah.
It's all actually, we're going to get him. We're going to get Dean. We're going to have a little Birdland Royale tournament.
We do have to get Danny Coulomb because apparently he's the reigning champ. So.
Oh, we need that. And we have that back there. Imagine when the pool, this place is good. We're going to have a lot of fun here when we get this fully set up here. It's so many.
The plans are coming in place.
So much room for activities. But this is a message out there from Cole Irvin, actually. And everyone knows how involved Cole likes to be, and especially with foundations and I'm trying to make sure I'm reading the right thing here. And for Barks, the dog animal shelter, right?
Yeah.
So there's a Thursday event, 3:30 to 6. Is that there's, if I'm reading this correctly, for a donation, I will sign an item and or take a photo. Adoption there will be a special certificate signed by Cole Irvin, and it's starting Wednesday through Sunday. So if you sign up to be a foster, you will enter a raffle then to win 2 tickets behind home plate, on-field batting practice passes, an Orioles prize pack, and a few other things, as well as they are finalizing it because this is something that he's very passionate about. Barks.org is the website, and it's going to be Pitch In for Pups. So we're going to talk about that a lot more in the future here. But that we wanted to share that first because Cole is always trying to think about helping out, and we talk about, we got a lot of furry friends or furry dogs, furry cats for Kevin, but a lot of animals that are in need of homes and a better life. So Cole is on top of that. We will post more about that in the future so you guys can hear more about it.
And fun fact, the picture I had just up right there was that's Cole Irvin wearing a Hawaiian shirt of 2 dogs that he adopted. So just talking about how much it means to him. He does adopt as well and tries to give these dogs a home. So he really does care.
That prize for the drawing though is insane.
Amazing.
That's a ridiculous prize.
And they're still trying to finalize more.
Yeah.
And that's the awesome part right there. So keep that in mind. We will continue to promote that as we go, but we wanted to tell you here first here on the Ryan Ripken Show. Kevin, do you have any thoughts there, Buttercup?
Good cause. Go
Good shit,
enter the
Kevin.
raffle.
Thank you,
Go
Kevin.
adopt.
Thank you, Kevin.
Scene.
Give Banksy a new friend.
Or a new leg.
Oh, gosh.
Was that controversial?
That was just the way you didn't miss a beat. You were like, or new leg.
It's not.
We're up to $15 on the Banksy New Leg Fund, by the way.
I'm not even going to.
You know what we should do at some point? We're going to have like a board up here when we get more, donations or whatever. And then every time it like pops up.
You just fill in
check. We'll have a checklist.
Fill in the little thermometer thing of like how much until Banksy gets the new.
Yeah.
What a good kid. All right, let's dive in before we will end talking about the Orioles outfield situation. Okay. We will end with that. And also, hey, I got a Kyle Stowers breakdown I want to do, and we're going to try something new out on the video board. We might be able to have a little bit more of a visual, to say the least here. So let's, though, talk about this one Ravens news because we want to try to keep what's going on in Baltimore, in the area, and the community. And that is that Kevin, Patrick Queen currently had an interesting interview. Would you like to introduce this and then I will play the video?
Yeah, I will set the scene here gladly. So, yes, Patrick Queen, we know he's gone from Baltimore. He signed with the Steelers, 3-year, $41 million deal. So Patrick Queen did an interview. I think it was a local Pittsburgh podcast, and talked about like his free agent journey and experience, where he was essentially tasked with deciding, he said, between winning now or getting paid now. And talked about how he had some teams offering him in like the $17 million range, and the difference between that and winning for him was $4 or $5 million. And so all this different stuff. But the clip, when it got put out, the whole point was, okay, he wants to win now. That's fine. But you just left the team that had the best record in the AFC last year, the number 1 seed. And you're going to a team, obviously Baltimore, obviously they have Lamar Jackson and bunch of talented players. Not that Pittsburgh doesn't, but their quarterback situation is super uncertain. It's like, if you're trying to win now, wouldn't Baltimore be a better place to do it than Pittsburgh? And so there's a bunch of controversy. Did Baltimore even offer Patrick Queen a contract? What did that look like? So it is it's an interesting conversation in just everything. Brad, what did you think about it, Brad?
Brad, you're muted.
You're muted.
Are we going to bring up the
yeah,
clip?
do we? Let's play it first.
Do we have the clip?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, Kevin,
I
you just kept on going.
I
God
mean,
damn.
Day one, like just going into it, you wasn't expecting like any linebackers to sign. I remember when Frankie signed, and then what he signed for, I was like, oh, here we go. He's like just messed it up. But you know, I'm definitely proud of him, because you know where he come from and what he been through, and just for him to be able to get paid and stuff. But I definitely want to be one of the top 3, top 5, top 8. So once that happened, I just knew, like, from all the like 15 teams that I was getting talked to, it came down to like 5 at the end. So it was just like 5 teams in a mix. Some of them was offering some 17s, and then it was just like, after that, it was just like, do I have a chance to either go win or I have a chance to get paid? And you know, for me, the difference was like $4 or $5 million. And I'm looking at it as like, I never been on a losing team before, and then I also don't want to be a part of like anything being rebuilt, because I'm trying to win now. Even though I'm young, I'm trying to win now. Because like being around like people like Calais, who was trying to win in a late stage of his career, and like all the other guys that I played with, this is not something that I would really want to do, you know. So I'm really just trying to win right now, get that out of the way, and just get paid later.
Okay. So first off, I'd like to note out that, Kevin, thank you for reading the show notes again.
I thought you were going to play the clip and you were not at your seat, so I was trying to stall.
No, we got to work on our communication here, because I think everyone. I said, could you preview it and then we will play the clip.
Yeah, but I thought you were going to be the one to play it and you weren't at your seat. That's
Who's
why
the producer
I asked
around
Brad.
here?
Well, that's why I wanted to get Brad's opinion on it.
And now,
Am I allowed to ask Brad what he thinks about it now?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
you can add Brad what he thinks about
Brad,
it now.
what do you think about this clip?
I don't understand. So he said a couple of things that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. He said he didn't want to be on a losing team. Now, granted, the Steelers were above 500, but they're not. By all accounts, they were a losing team last year, right? I mean, we can all agree on that. I mean, the Ravens gave them a win last year, obviously, and so I don't really understand that. I also don't know the win now thing either, because you're in the AFC North again, so like it's going to be really hard for you to win now with teams such as the Ravens and the Browns, the Bengals. Like, they're all teams that are going to win now. And the Steelers are arguably the weakest team in the division. I would say that. And you got 2 quarterbacks that could be good. You just never know. Both of them are question marks, in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I just don't know how the Steelers are actually going to improve all that much, especially given what you saw from them last year. So Patrick Queen's rationale doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And I would be curious to learn other teams that offer him that kind of money and where they are as far as the ability to win now. versus the deal he took with the Steelers. It still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And this isn't a knock on Patrick Queen. Go get your bag. Go win some games, just as long as they're not against the Ravens. But man, like I just don't understand any of the logic with this signing from Patrick Queen's standpoint. It still doesn't seem like it's very clear to me.
Well, one thing we talked about, right, Kevin, if I'm not mistaken, it was, do you want to take a bag to go to Carolina or a place like that where there's there's even more questions. Pittsburgh, the culture's there. Mike Tomlin's there. It's just, what is their difference of going from a team that has upside to a team that you think is going to contend? And Patrick Queen, you can make the argument, Brad and I understand, Patrick Queen thinks that they can contend. Now, the question is, can they contend with whatever their quarterback, either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields? That's where it's going to lie. Did Pittsburgh need a linebacker to fill that presence? Yes, it fits it. Does Pittsburgh have a very talented defense? Yes. Do they have certain offensive pieces? Yes. But the biggest question mark is going to lie on who's going to be the quarterback here.
Yeah. I mean, that's my biggest question about this is, I want to win now. I don't want to go to a team that's rebuilding. The Steelers, we don't know who their quarterback is. Like, yes,
you're on a team that's rebuilding.
Yeah. Like I feel like the Steelers, especially if they go with Justin Fields and they try to take a year to see what he does, how they want to fill in a team around him, that's rebuilding. Like, I understand, like, if he said he wants to go to a competitive team, stay in the division, stuff like that, like, he loves AFC North football. Yeah. I just think the whole, like, I don't want to go to a rebuilding team. I've never lost in my career. And I don't, that it is just interesting to go then to a team that, like you said, Brad, is probably going to get picked to finish last in the division by most skeptics, be between them and the Browns. So, it is obviously they could come back and Russell Wilson can look revived. We can have a whole discussion about how that impacts it all, but it feels like there are more question marks around the team than just, oh, I'm here to win. Like, I feel like that is up in the air.
Well, the thing is, I think it's fair to say Pittsburgh's going to find a way to battle and grind. And also, Jacob, it's a good point. Teams play teams tough. Pittsburgh has played Baltimore. They've given Baltimore fits. You can say whatever the reason. You can say the injuries. You can say whatever it is. The Ravens, when they play Pittsburgh, specifically when they've gone to Pittsburgh, weird shit has happened in those games so far. So Pittsburgh knows how to play Baltimore. The biggest thing for Pittsburgh, though, is can they match up with some of the other best teams? And again, it is going to sit on, is Russell Wilson going to be the guy, Kevin, or is Justin Fields going to be the one to elevate it? I do agree, Alex, with this of saying, if Marlo talked about on the perspective that Patrick Queen has a secure role, if you're going to take less money, if that's the truth, over having job security and be in a position where you think you can excel, that sounds exciting to me. Like, I would trust Mike Tomlin and that defense more than going to Carolina with a first-year head coach with a team that is not projected to win many games at all. So I think that I understand that part of the logic, but again, I hate even saying it. It's just really going to all rely on what happens at the quarterback position for Pittsburgh.
Well, and it's also just so circumstantial because the quarterback position, it's the most important position on the roster. I mean, teams can win without a good quarterback, but it's really hard. You have to have a great roster around that guy. And so to me, winning also, we're seeing a lot more parity in the NBA today than we are, and even in the MLB than the NFL. But these teams, we've seen a bunch of leaps from these younger up-and-coming teams where if it is Carolina, let's say, if Bryce Young has a breakout second season, which again is not a guarantee, but if he does and then they get more weapons around him, I mean, that team could be winning. And by the way, the NFC is a lot weaker than the AFC. And by a lot, I mean a lot weaker. Yeah. So again, the Chiefs are the team to beat. We know that, but there is still parity with the other teams around, especially in a competitive AFC, where if you want to go and you want to win, like, I get it. Pittsburgh has a strong culture. They needed a linebacker, but I also wonder about Baltimore's approach in the whole free agency process, because I'm not sure they even offered him a contract.
I don't think they did.
I mean, Geno Stone hinted at it on Twitter, and for both him and Patrick Queen. And it's interesting because there is a certain way that these negotiations are done, and it's different across every sport and every team. But if the Ravens were like, look, we can't pay you what you need, they're not going to go and offer him, hey, we'll pay you 3 years, $12 million. That's just disrespectful to offer him that. So they probably might. And if they didn't offer, it was probably something like, we respect you, we loved what you did here, but we know we can't match the value that you're going to go out there and get. So we're not going to offer you anything. If that's how it went. So I'm curious to see.
Yeah,
if
but
we
I
ever
would say
find
this.
out.
If that was the case, Kevin, I would agree with you if it seemed like it was a pleasant mutual parting of ways, and I would imagine that most of them aren't, right? But Geno Stone and Patrick Queen both were like, we want to go somewhere where we feel valued.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and I'm paraphrasing, but
comments.
they said that via their social media platform. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's interesting. And Geno, well, I mean, he led the team in interceptions, you know, last year. So I it's interesting. If they weren't offered anything from the Ravens, I would agree with you. It's probably because they just knew that they weren't going to be able to meet what their market was asking for them. But at the same time, I don't know. It just kind of seems weird to me that both of them were kind of like, well, they just don't see the value in what it is that we bring to the table, so we're going to go elsewhere.
Well, and value in general too. You know, another way that shows value is how much money you're going to be given. That makes you feel good. Is all right. What's your plan for me, and what's the contract? And for Patrick Queen, he got a deal, which again we talked about. I'm happy for the dude. We talked about it's the business for everything you're doing.
Yeah.
And you said that, Brad. I know you did. But for those guys, how you feel valued after all those years of putting out there for the squad is getting paid. And when you get paid, you feel like, all right, they're investing in me because they believe in me. And that's just the one part of the business. It's the Ravens value everything that those players did. The reality is they just can't pay those guys with their other priorities that are happening. Hope the best for them. Should be a great rivalry with Pittsburgh. But nonetheless, Patrick Queen, it will be interesting the first time. I'm still waiting for that. Derrick Henry, Patrick Queen, meet me in the hole. We are going to talk about that quite often. So should be a lot of fun.
That's the second most anticipated meeting, that the first one being Nick Moore and I doing the Oklahoma drill.
Yes.
Very true.
And
very
I showed people AJ Dillon running over the mascot at a summer ball game. That's going to be you, the mascot getting run over by Nick Moore. We're starting the Nick Moore Pro Bowl train right now. 2024 Nick Moore long snapper. All right. Let's dive now while I got time. Kevin and Brad can mingle. Zach, why don't we get ready for the little Kyle Stowers breakdown on what's kind of going on? What you got?
Fun fact: Kyle Stowers in the lineup tonight, DHing. So,
hey, when you get 3 hits, good thing is to put that guy back in the lineup. And we're going to talk a little bit why you want to give guys like Kyle Stowers a little bit more of a run if he seems to be swinging the bat pretty well. But for right now, we'll go to Kevin's Corner featuring Mr. Brad.
Yeah, Brad, I don't know if you saw this. Tom Pelissero put out this morning about the end of OTAs potentially. Did you see this?
Yeah. No.
Where you didn't? Okay. So essentially, the NFL Players Association is working to finalize a proposal to essentially overhaul the entire offseason. And I think, he says it's as soon as 2025. So essentially, they would eliminate the voluntary on-field work, so OTAs and all that, and they would replace it with a longer training camp. So Pelissero is saying it's going to be maybe like a mid-June or early July report. So essentially like a full stretch instead of having guys report for a week, then go back, then report for another, then go back. It's just that back and forth aspect. I don't hate the idea. I'm a little shocked that the players want it, to be honest, just because I feel like it's one thing to have like all this back and forth, but also it's like, you're there now from mid-June until, if you win the Super Bowl, February. So I don't know. I feel like it's something that the players have wanted now, but I don't know. It feels interesting to me.
I don't know if that's necessarily a big deal. If you ask any player if they would rather just have an entire chunk of time off, or maybe a month, and then you have to go to work, you have to go, fly back to wherever your team is, for 1 to 2 week stretches sporadically all the way up until the end of July. I think they probably all would, or most of them would probably answer, I'd rather have that long chunk of time off.
Yeah, that's true.
And then with longer OTAs. I mean, look, you look at any other sport, 6 months is not really that big of a deal. So obviously with baseball being the longest one, but even if you look at motorsports, football, basketball, it doesn't matter. They're all 6 months or longer. So the fact of the matter is, and I know that football is a more physical sport, but the thing of it is like we're talking maybe an extra 2 to 3 weeks tacked on the training camp. I don't know if that's really a big deal. I think they'll take that trade off any day of the week.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Actually, I've changed my stance based off of your opinion. So thank you for letting me see the light on that. But there was something else where Pelissero said that it's also in conjunction with a bunch of medical professionals, performance experts, and maximizing the recovery time. And I think that's key because injuries were at an all-time high last year, especially starting quarterback injuries. And so you give these guys all that time off. I actually like that where you're not going back and forth. Not that they're going through rigorous workouts every single time they do OTAs or mini camp, but you just get the prolonged stretch away. So I do actually, I do think that's the right decision if they decide to go for it.
Jacob was asking, does that end the rookie camp as well? I think rookie camps are still going to be a thing.
Yeah, I think that would stay, and that's only a weekend. I mean, or I guess a week, right? Rookie mini camp is a week, and then those guys. But it's different for the players who have been there. I think rookies are it's a different conversation. But
yep.
I like that change. I think also the Ravens wrapped up their practice. I think Lamar Jackson was the only offensive starter not there, if I'm not mistaken, based off of what I'm seeing. And then a bunch of Rashad Bateman talk.
Why is that?
He spoke to the media and he was asked about the extension and said it came out of nowhere. And it seems like, Brad, every single player that's spoken at the podium or every single coach, offensively at least, has been asked about Rashad Bateman. It's just been glowing reviews. And my thing on Bateman is it's a huge make or break year for him, but obviously not on the roster anymore. I think this is make or break in terms of can you handle a big role and can you step up? If not, they're probably just going to bring somebody else in next year and maybe demote Bateman to 3 or even 4, worst case scenario for him if the health doesn't check out. But to me, I don't know. It feels like this is the year. Yeah, here it is. You pull that up here.
What is it about? So I do have questions about this too, because we didn't really talk about this much. And since everybody's talking about Bateman, now I have an opportunity to ask maybe your opinion too. Is the thought behind extending Rashad Bateman, giving him a role in which he's that go up and just catch it guy? You know what I mean? Like the contested balls, the 50-50 throws. Is Bateman going to take on that role? Because obviously I don't see, Zay Flowers just doesn't have the body for it, right? Like, unless he somehow really does turn into Steve Smith, where you just throw the ball up and he's going to catch it. He's so physical. Right. I haven't really seen that physicality from Zay Flowers yet, just because he's so shifty and can create separation that I don't know if we've ever really needed to see that just yet. It's only been one season, obviously, but
yeah,
is Rashad that big body, that DK Metcalf type of guy where you're just tossing the ball and he's going to catch it no matter what because he knows how to contest for it? I haven't really seen that from Rashad either. And so that's why I'm kind of curious as to see if that's what he kind of transforms into this year. What do you think?
They need someone to do it. And
right. That's why I'm asking.
No, yeah. And I was a little shocked that they didn't do more in terms of adding a vet. I mean, really, Tez Walker has the biggest skill set in terms of being that guy for them, but as a rookie, the question is like, what is his role going to be? It's like, are you going to put him in and just throw him into the fire? Zay is 5'9". I mean, he can make contested catches, but you're not throwing him jump balls, just throw him jump balls. Like he goes up and catches maybe like a bad throw or something. He has that in a skill set, but he's not a jump ball player. Bateman is 6 foot. Aguilar 6 foot. Tylan Wallace is 5'11". I mean, they don't really have that skill set on the roster. So if Bateman is that guy for them, I mean, we saw him do it in college, but obviously his college hasn't translated over to the pros. I mean, it's such a fickle situation because they don't have the skill set. I mean, you talk about like DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, like those are like specimen humans,
giant,
unbelievable. And Bateman, he's a little bit more on the skinny side. Like he's not a skinny player, but he's on the skinny side, I would say.
Yeah,
he has it in his repertoire, but like I think he's the guy that makes the most sense to me based off of role. I mean, he is the number 2, and there's no one to question him. I mean, they didn't bring in anybody. This is like a full belief, and it's a little better. In fact, it's a lot better than what they did in 2022 when coming off of his rookie season. They're like, all right, you're the number 1. We're not going to do anything. Go do your thing. That was a mistake, in my opinion. You have Zay. But part of this is they have Andrews and Likely, but I would have liked to see that skill set in that wide receiver room to complement those guys. But I think they're going to move Likely around enough where maybe they just view him and Andrews as those guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just about to say that maybe Likely and Andrews are the jump ball type of guys. And then the rest of wide receivers, I mean, a lot of people chiming in about how good of a route runner Bateman is. And I wasn't taking that away from him. It was just, he is, but like who fills that role of being that guy, and Travis Kelce is that guy for the Chiefs. So maybe maybe it does end up being one of the tight ends that the Ravens have. So yeah, just a question worth asking, I thought.
No, it's a good one. I mean, I had always thought, and I don't think it's going to go this route for them this offseason, but Cortland Sutton felt like the perfect addition for them because the contract is great. I think it's like 14 mil base salary for the next 2 years. We saw Gabe Davis get 13 million from Jacksonville, and Darnell Mooney got 13. So that's a bargain contract. Plus he has that skill set. Yeah. And we know Denver's not in a position to compete this year. The only thing is with them, it's like, do they want to have at least one vet there for Bo Nix and not just have a bunch of rookie young pass catchers around him, which I would get. And also wouldn't call. I know the whole conversation, Brad's been like, oh, go get Brandon Ayuk, go get Brandon Ayuk. That's going to be a heck of a contract. It's going to be a lot of draft capital. Yeah. And I just feel like with the way the Ravens throw the ball, I mean, we know this is a run first team. They were the top rushing attack last year. They were number one in carries. They have been that way for a while, but they were 30th in pass attempts. Me personally, I don't know if you feel the same way, Brad. I'd like to see a bit more balance this year. And I know it's circumstantial too, because they were blowing teams out a lot last season. So you run the ball to get out of the game. But I think balance is key for the offense, at least this year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole point of bringing Todd Monken on was to see more air attacks. And so I think that we probably will see more of that this year. Look, you can't just continue to have Derrick Henry. He's 30 years old. You can't continue to just run him like the way he's been running for his whole career. I would imagine creating that balance is what's going to keep him healthier throughout the season. Yeah.
Now, look, if we need some jump ball guys, I think everybody on the show, including myself, could fill in on that role. Ryan, Zach's doing. Zach's catching the ball in the back here. Are you good, Ryan? You're figuring?
I think so.
Yeah.
What's taking so long?
I think they're trying to figure out how to draw on the board.
No, we probably should have done that a while ago.
I don't know what.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
All
right, I can't hear you, so beat it. All right, so first time we're going to talk about this, actually. And do we need to turn the mics off, or is it echo? No echo?
No.
Not really.
Turn it off.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, okay. Well,
Do, and do. All right, so this is kind of fun here, guys. We finally are getting this to work a little bit here, but we want to talk a little bit about Kyle Stowers, specifically what's been going on for him. And for Stow, he just isn't going to bother me. There we go. So Kyle Stowers obviously had the massive game for the Orioles yesterday, 3 for 4, 4 RBIs, feeling good. Now he earned the opportunity to play again. He's DHing, as everyone heard on the show. But I want to break down a little bit about what Kyle did really well so far coming up here. And if you guys want to remember back with Kyle, and this is back to 2022, okay? So I'm going to try to pause this at the right time. Okay, heal. So 2022, because last year's sample size in 2023, there wasn't enough for Kyle Stowers. He made the team, but he wasn't playing much. And when he did get his opportunities later on, didn't really take advantage of it, right? But I want you to understand his spray chart here, because right now in general for Kyle Stowers, he likes to drive the ball to all parts of the field, right? So if I can do this correctly, come on, maybe I'll just do this. Whoosh. Right there, he likes to live in this area, right? Oh, we like a better red. There we go. That's a really good spot for Kyle Stowers if you want to look at that, to be honest, right? Because gap to gap. He's got the ability to hit the ball to left and to right, but when he plays the middle part of the field, that's where the best things for success happen for Kyle Stowers. So as we move on so far, all right, let's continue on in this conversation. We're not going to save. And so first at bat, this is a great example here. So Kyle Stowers is the first hit, and sometimes you just need that. So Kyle Stowers got brought up, waiting for that first hit. They're facing Bryce Miller, one of the best pitchers out there for the Seattle Mariners. And so he's going to get a pitch right down in this part of the plate here. Come on. Come on. And I apologize as we work through it. He's going to get a pitch right here. okay? And Kyle Stowers is going to stay on it enough, and sometimes it's better to be lucky. Right fielder's not going to get a big jump on this. Oh, wow, I drew that perfectly right there. Hey, so right down there, he goes down and gets it, okay? This ball then is going to fall right in. Appreciate you helping him out here. This is where the confidence started for Kyle Stowers, okay? And as we keep moving on here, and he's giving the little, maybe. But this is where Kyle Stowers is starting to feel more comfortable. What I've loved with Kyle Stowers so far, if you're going to take a look, let's take a look up here, okay? 1-2 count. 1-2 count for Kyle Stowers in a situation where when he falls behind, can you still be proactive? Can you put a good swing on the baseball? One thing that Kyle was, I guess, criticized for is for his two-strike approach or swing and miss too much, right? Does that make sense? But he's not going to swing or miss here. He's going to get a pitch on the inside part of the plate right there. And let's see if my drawing's pretty good for that. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'll erase that here. So, in general, give it on back. In general, middle in right there, Stowers has really quick hands. He's going to shoot this ball right down the line there. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. A double. He's feeling good. The Orioles are going to keep moving on, right? That is what you like to see for a guy that's trying to find himself and build more confidence. Now, this is actually some great hitting. And Eric Fetty was actually my former roommate when he got drafted in the instructional league with the Washington Nationals. Eric Fetty's had a great start to his season so far for the Chicago White Sox, but he's going to make a great pitch here. Change up down. We're going to freeze it. Freeze. That's an excellent pitch right there. But for Stowers, when you're feeling better, what I'd like to see with him is that, yeah, you might get fooled. And Kyle was fooled a little bit on the pitch. But when you're able to stay on the ball just long enough, yeah, you can get the barrel to it, stick your butt out. And what I love, though, is that Kyle Stowers is going to play this ball up the middle. Yeah, when you're thinking big part of the field, you're going to see more results. And Kyle Stowers is starting to see more of those results for this team. Now let's flash forward to yesterday's game between the Boston Red Sox and the Baltimore Orioles. Big part of the game. Again, 2 strikes here for Kyle Stowers. This is something that has really started to show more. Kyle can hit the ball to all parts of the field, right? There's no doubt about that. But can you do it in big situations? Bases juiced, bottom of the 4th, no outs. You want to really get the party started? Well, how about you drive a pitch away and go with it? You're going to see Kyle Stowers is going to get a breaking ball down the zone. Again, almost similar when you look at it from that changeup that was before. This is more of a slider. But for Kyle, instead of being a hair out in front, he is now a hair back. And yes, he might look like he's reaching because that's not a bad pitch, but he stays on it long enough and he's going to hit this ball to left. And things are in motion for Baltimore. 2-run score, the rally's on, and then after that, you're going to see the Orioles just kept putting up runs, right? That's what's awesome for Kyle Stowers is his ability to hit the ball to all parts of the ballpark. Let's freeze again. Kyle Stowers, what is great with his game, he's hitting mistake pitches right now as well. This is a hanging breaking ball, as you can see in the middle part of the field, but Kyle's not trying to pull the baseball. He's not trying to do anything differently than just let his skills take over and hit the ball where it's supposed to go. And for him, he's in a good position. He's going to go shopping at the gap. And they're in motion. It's beautiful. And this builds confidence for a player. And that's why I wanted to show that first hit that he had against Bryce Miller, because I truly think that's where the confidence started for Kyle Stowers. You get that stress off your back. Finally, okay, got the first hit. It's out of the way. Now things can come more naturally. And here's the case, too, what I love with Kyle Stowers. One thing he likes to do, he's a free swinger, just like a lot of these Baltimore Orioles. They will swing early in the count. This count, see if I can draw this. Oh, not the best zeros there. But the point is, he's ready to swing at any point. And that's something that I've loved with the evolution. 2 strikes, 0-0 count, no matter what it is. If the pitch is in the zone, Kyle Stowers is going to go and make a good swing on it right there. Again, pitch away, 96. Did he hit it the best way that he wanted to? No. But did he make good, solid contact Where was it to? Right back at you, right up the middle of the field. And you know what that produces? That produces some ribbies. 2 runners are going to score. Kyle Stowers is going to finish 3 for 4, 4 RBIs, and we're going to show it. Show Kyle. Come on. Show Kyle one time. We're going to go back to the top then and show him right here. Stowers is an extremely talented player, and the hardest thing for these young players right now is doing something that they haven't been asked for, and that is to not be the everyday guy, be a role player. We heard from Colton Cowser and Jordan Westberg how much that impacts a player, right? But for Stowers, he doesn't know what his role is going to be. But I'll tell you what, he is going to try to take advantage of every single situation. And the way that he's playing, how do you stay in the lineup? You keep hitting. And that's not necessarily fair to him. But what is fair is if he does produce like he has so far, that 3-hit game, those 4 RBIs, he's going to find himself constantly back in the lineup because he has tremendous upside. And if he can keep fixing some of those situational hitting with 2 strikes and using that big part of the field again, I mean, look, Oriole fans might have written him off. But to me, Kyle Stowers can be a big player for this team, especially if he swings the bat like he did against the Red Sox the other day. And if you like this breakdown, let me know, and let me know who you guys want me to break down next, and hit that like and subscribe button as I continue to figure out how to use this device. But it is a lot of fun. Shout out, Brad, to you for helping this. And now we'll go back to Kevin's Corner.
Great. Hello. Okay.
You got it.
Great problem to have for the Orioles, by the way. I mean, what, Brad?
I don't think that your mic is on.
Is hello? Well,
there's like a ridiculous echo somewhere.
Yeah, it's on.
Well, there's an echo. I think it's because yeah.
Oh, there we go.
It's because the roadcaster or his mic was on. But yeah, great problem to have, Brad. Wouldn't you say? Outfielders galore. Just trying to figure out. By the way, shout out to Seti for that triple. He had a good game too, right?
Yeah.
Got robbed twice. Could have been 3 for 4, but I don't know. Good problem to have. So I don't know what they do with some of these prospects. I don't know what they decide to do in terms of trades either. I mean, the Burns trade was super timely, in my opinion. We knew they had to choose between Westberg and Joey Ortiz, and they made the right decision there. Now, when it comes to the outfielder prospects, I know the 2 big ones we're talking about, it's Stowers and Kerstead. I'm just so happy for Stowers, though, because he was in a situation last year where he was used to sitting on the bench, being that guy that starts on an off day, but getting regular at bats and some of the stuff that Ryan just broke down there, Brad. I mean, Stowers is a player, and I think that he should hopefully have a bunch more opportunities moving forward.
Oh, without question. I mean, it's just going to be interesting to see how the rest of the farm system shapes up because of all the good players that are there. There's only so much room on the 25 and 40 man roster. So I'm just kind of racking my brain as to how this what's it all look like by the time playoff season comes and or postseason comes. So I don't know, man. I really don't. Obviously, the wild card is injuries, and that's the only thing that I have to go off of as far as like when are these guys gonna get caught up? It's gonna have to be when somebody else gets injured. I think as of right now. I mean, I just don't know who you get rid of. I really don't.
You have to. Nope. One more. Nope. Yep. It's still off. Yeah.
I can't wait till we get our 4th camera.
That's on me. Is that not plugged? Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot that he had to plug in his other microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in. There we go.
You're fired. Just kidding. But overall, it's a good problem. I tell people this. It's a great problem if you're Mike Elias or Brandon Hyde because of the fact of you got good players. When you have good players, you feel like you can play with it. Now, does it suck for players themselves? Yeah, it's tough because you're like, I can help this team. But you got to wait your turn. And that is the hard part. That is the thing I feel for the players the most because a guy like Kyle Stowers was the 5th option this year. When you look at it, Cowser broke with the team. Heston gets called up. So I'm sorry, he's the 6th option. If you look at it, so the starting 3 outfielders, the 2 guys in Heston and Cowser. And what I mean by the 3 starting outfielders was Hayes, Mullins, and Santander. And then Kyle Stowers waited for his chance. And we didn't know what was going to happen, but Kyle Stowers recognizes that he doesn't know either, but he can't worry about it. He can't focus on what can go wrong. He's got to try to focus on what he can do right. And that is what I love to see with him. Talent's there for them. But on the same front, Seti, I'm glad you brought it up. I was actually going to throw that in the breakdown here. And I saw some Ryan Mountcastle. Maybe we'll bring him into the equation to break him down again. But Seti's swinging the bat well, man. I felt bad. He got robbed twice yesterday. And you could see after that last one, I know exactly what he was thinking. And I knew exactly, don't tell him, hey, good swing. But it's starting to come around. His swings are getting better and better. And I think he's getting out of that funk. He's a good player, man. He is a very, very good player. So don't sleep on him. And just another quantum wave function.
Oh.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Good kids. Well, and we appreciate that. And again, we appreciate all the subscriptions. We appreciate you being a part of the channel. One, we're building the community, but two, it is helping us continue to enhance our coverage and content for you all out there. This is just the beginning, and we hope you guys have enjoyed the show so far. This is, as much as we consider this as quote unquote, we're working to make something special. So all of this continues to help us, and we got some really, really big plans. Brad, am I missing anything before I get us ready to sign off and absolutely beat the brakes off Kevin?
Whoa, what?
Jeez, I thought that was going somewhere else. I thought we were about to have a Nick Moore moment.
We kind of just did.
No, we didn't. No, we did. Not even close.
Well, if someone clips it the right way.
If I said beat his ass.
Or beat him off is what.
Beat the brakes off is,
Yeah,
it's not even close to Nick.
I would agree. It's not close to Nick.
Have you seen the Spider-Man meme where it's like him holding the buses?
Oh yeah,
the brakes is really doing it for you there.
Kevin, you're done.
Kevin's, what the fuck is going on?
I'm gonna win for revenge, and it'll be 1-1, and then you'll really be shaking in your boots.
Uh-oh. I don't know if there's anybody more competitive in that room right now than Rip at this point.
All right, we got to sign off because I got to get ready to go to Pickles, 5:30 down there at Camden Yards, or at Pickles Pub next to Camden Yards. I will be on 105.7 The Fan. Tune in. We'll talk more. I appreciate that. But yeah, I gotta teach Kevin a few lessons. The slander here, his attitude is enough. But you know what I can't get enough of is our support out there. And on the way out, please hit that like and subscribe button for the Ryan Ripken Show. Again, we do this regularly scheduled, typically on Mondays and Thursdays, but we will go live on other days because of the holidays. Check in for the post-game show, which Zach and Kevin are going to be headlining that as well. The Orioles have won 5 straight when those guys have gone live. So make sure you are there doing it. And Justin, I will be at Pickles tomorrow as well. Stop traffic. I will be there. But I appreciate you guys. And you know what? I think it's time to put the glasses on. What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. Here we go. And that does it for everyone here at the Ryan Ripken Show. We appreciate you guys as always. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you next time for a brand new edition of the Ryan Ripken Show. Have a day, have a night, and talk to you soon. Peace. All right, Kevin, get back there. You're done. Let's go. Line them up. Let's go.